Welcome back to more Dark Souls Remastered. Last time we played, we learned the game, got through the first area, and now we're going to be continuing on. So while we could talk with Andre, we don't have any souls. So let's go through here. And here we will find the first of many Titanite demons. These guys are, well, I would say hard, but, well, frankly, they're not all that bad. They're maybe not the easiest enemies, but they at least aren't the hardest. Now, notably, their hitboxes are kind of terrible. So keep that in mind. Otherwise, having a 100% block shield will help you a lot. And otherwise, I mean, the age-old strategy of just walk around them will do you wonders. Come on, pal. Ow. There's the rare instance of an attack that can't be blocked. There's not a whole ton of them in the game, but there are a couple, so be careful of that. Come on, pal. Ooh, if you notice there, I did a lot more damage with that poke. That's because I got a counter hit because he was mid-swing. Come on, pal. Yeesh. Now, notably, this guy does do a lot of damage, at least for this point in the game. Ooh. So I would like to be careful, but part of me also wants to show off the red tear stone strats. Also careful, he can cast magic, but so can we. Notably, magic does a lot more damage to this guy, so maybe don't worry about using physical stuff, but if you don't have it, the age-old strat will work. Still, 2,000 souls for a pretty easy fight? I'll take it. Through here, we have a very green foresty area. Hi there, Mr. Tree. I want to say these dudes are incredibly weak to fire, and specifically slashing damage. Yeah, this is Darkroot Garden. Now, when you're first playing, you may not think it, especially because this guy charges you right away. Ooh, actually, they're weak to piercing. Weird. At least, the piercing does a lot more damage. But if you turn around, there's immediately another way to go. And this is actually a very important place to get to, especially for us. You notice there's a big forest and a lake, as well as some towers. Now, if you remember when we fought Havel, the tower just across from us is actually where he was. So we could have gotten here a lot earlier because we had the Master Key and beat Havel. This is Darkroot Basin. And if you see, there's a little Titanite lizard. So let's see if we can beat him up. I would like your Titanite, good sir. Thank you, pal. We will absolutely be using all that later. Not right now, but later for sure. If you come up this way and hop down, we get the leather armor, as well as a longbow. Super useful. So if you didn't pick the hunter, that's where you can get the armor. Kind of nice. Otherwise, if we run back here, we're going to encounter another Dark Knight, and on that corpse there is what most people would say is the best shield in the game. Ow. Sorry, son. You're easy to parry. Now, see that glaive he has? That is probably considered, like, one of the best weapons in the game as well. So if you get the Black Knight Halberd, which is what it's called, even though it's clearly a glaive, it is an insanely good weapon. Frankly, a lot of people, if they get this after beating this guy, will base their entire playthrough around it, because it is just a powerhouse of a weapon. I mean, it's seriously that good. We didn't get it, so oh well. Ooh. Right here we have a little cave with a bonfire. Sure. Let's give it a light. May as well. I don't have a reason to rest here, but I guess this will also show us our first instance of something. Should we go through here, we will find that there's an elevator. Unfortunately, we won't be able to get terribly far down this elevator, but we can still give it a look. Need lever. Yeah. That message is correct. So should we head down, which, let me tell you, this is a long way down, you will find that it spits you out over here by all the drakes. If you remember these guys, that's where we died and got the red tearstone ring. So, you know, if you're looking for a shortcut back here and you don't want to go through Firelink, I guess you can take this route. I don't think I've personally ever really used this elevator. So, you know, it's there, but it's nothing really all that special. So, oh well. Huh. Looking snazzy, fella. Well, later. So yeah, I think a lot of today is going to be covering going down below to the second bell. Also, here's the Grass Crest shield. This is probably the best shield in the game. While it only blocks 95% of physical damage, it increases your stamina recovery speed. So we're going to see those little green lines on us for basically the entire game now. A lot of people will throw this shield onto any build, just because even if you're two-handing a weapon, you still get the effect while it's on your back. Plus, it just helps that 95% block is basically 100%. It's really good. Ooh, and we're still fast rolling. Very nice. Havel's Ring really does some work. Otherwise, should we come this way, we will find something rather interesting. Some golems. Now, I will warn you, these fellas are not to be trifled with. So be careful. They do a lot of damage. Plus, while we can't see it yet, there's another something that is currently hounding us. It's over there in the water. But, ooh, that hurts. But basically, it's going to be well worth our time to take care of these guys and continue this way. At least for me. If you're a low-level sorcerer, going this way is going to really boost your power. Also, there's the Hydra. So yeah, careful, because he shoots water blasts. Now, the nice thing is these water blasts can actually damage these golems, which will help us get rid of them. If you notice, they do a lot more damage than we ever could. So frankly, I like using the Hydra to help me kill these guys. I think most people do, because frankly, right now, we are not very powerful. Now, the trick to actually fighting the Hydra is that you need to get close to him. Eventually, he'll get tired of shooting at you like this. Ooh, careful there. Get him to shoot the golems. Come on, baby. Nice. Super awesome. Saves us the trouble. Let's be careful. Oh, that did a lot of damage. Ow. We're gonna chug. Alright. Now get into the water and stay nice and close to the Hydra. Careful though, there is a ledge you can fall down into the water. It's kind of faint, but it's there, make no mistake. But when you get close, he'll do this. Once he's done that, you can hit the heads. Now, if you notice, he has a lot of health. So if I were you, simply block, hit him with your biggest attacks, rinse, repeat. You'll get him eventually. It's better if he doesn't hit you, because then you can attack quicker. But regardless, with our stamina, we can only hit him twice, so it's not a big deal. Yeah, see, we got a little too far away, so he's shooting us again. Whew, bit rude. Generally, stand in the water, and he should attack you like this. Poke. Now, once we do enough damage, as you might guess, we'll actually break off his heads. It takes a little while, so be patient. At least you're doing more than you were with the dragon, so I think it's a lot better of a fight. There we go. Yeah, see, it's still not as good to just smack him. It's better for us to poke him. Whew. Careful there. Now, nice thing is you can actually use the reflection to see where he's going, which is kind of cool. I think it's a really nice design. Ooh, there's another head. Heal up. Now, it gets a little hard to hit him when you start killing some of the heads, because a lot of the heads you'll break are probably the easier ones that you could normally hit. So don't be surprised if you have to run around a lot more than you'd like. Ooh, accidentally poked the rock. Now, if you notice, he only has 3 heads left, and his health bar isn't going to survive that long. So when you kill all the heads, it'll just kill the Hydra for you, which is really nice. I super appreciate that feature. Go. Now, if you have a weapon that does a lot of damage, you can actually do more damage to the heads than they have HP, and it'll just transfer over to the body. So that's super useful. And as you can see, they start getting really awkward to hit. There we go. Poke and a poke. Got 1 head left. But I think, unfortunately, is the most awkward head to hit. Now, what we could do is we could try hitting him with magic, but as you'll soon see, our magic doesn't reach that far. So really, our best bet is to actually wait for him to lunge his head and then hit him with magic. The only problem is this takes forever. So normal soul arrows will be our friend. There we go. The damage isn't phenomenal, but it's a lot easier than trying to hit him with our sword. Oh, I missed. Come on, baby. Oh, darn. We'll get him eventually. There we go. And for that, we get the dragon scale and the dusk crown ring. Some very interesting items. So it gives extra magic castings, but it halves your HP. Big risk, big reward. Now you might be thinking to yourself, well, that's just dandy, but what else do you do here? Well, you can come over this way, and if you hug the waterfall, you can actually find a ladder that leads up to an area that you shouldn't really be going to yet. You can, just be forewarned that it's a tough area. Otherwise, there's actually shallow water here. That's not just a pit. Yep, thank you message. So as you can see, there's something back here. Namely, it's just a big cave with a lot of sparklies. So you might be thinking to yourself, well, what does this matter? This is just a cave with a bunch of sparklies. And you'd be right. It is. However, should we, I believe, save and quit our game after defeating the Hydra? I believe that's the trigger. We'll find a golden golem here. We want to beat this guy, especially as a caster with, I believe it's below 28 intelligence. Yeah, he's super resistant to magic. So maybe don't waste your time. Now, admittedly, you are fighting at a big disadvantage here. Still, hit him with your strongest attacks. You should be fine. Whew. Ow. Play it safe. Hi, buddy. That's the one I was worried about. That will really do a lot of damage. So be careful. Ow. Come on. Man, I'm just barely out of range, huh? Ooh, good block. Hi, buddy. Ow. Frankly, I'd rather just take the hits and do damage than keep messing around. Go. Take a little heal. Ow, that was not worth. Ooh. You wanted to finish me off there. There we go. Now we should be okay. Ow. Woo. There we go. And when we beat him, he drops a lady? Hello there.
So, 'tis thou who rescued me.
Yeah?
Most gracious, I am deeply obliged. I am Dusk of Ulasil. I cometh from an age long before thine. I cannot stay here for long. So, before I disappear, allow me to ask one thing. My home, Ulasil, is the home of ancient sorceries. My hope is to pass this profound knowledge to thee, with thine approval. Would this be of assistance to thee?
It certainly would.
My heartfelt thanks. I am pleased beyond words. Then I shout, engrave my signature. If thou art in need, pray summon me from my signature. It seems that my time is done. May the great flames guide thee.
So as she says, she will leave her summon sign for you now. However, as you can imagine, summon signs require you to be human. This area, unfortunately, does have a boss. So should we require her aid, there's a good chance we're going to get invaded here. Especially because this is the notorious PvP forest. This area is entirely dedicated, at least everything up that ladder, and beyond the crest door that we heard about from Andre, is entirely dedicated to doing PvP. There's an entire covenant that automatically invades. Now, at least, you'd think to yourself, I need to be human. But as you can see, we very clearly aren't, and her sign is here. She's a special case, where you don't need to be human in order to summon her, because she's a merchant. So, hooray for them being nice to us for once.
I am Dusk of Ulasil. It is an honor to see thee again. I shall follow thy wishes.
So now, we'll learn a gesture. Very nice. And we'll buy some things. As you can see, she has some pretty interesting spells. Hidden Body, Cast Light, the Repair spell, which is really good. Chameleon, and Hidden Weapon. These all do, basically, what they say. They're all going to be useful, but what we're really after is the Ulasil Ivory Catalyst. Notice that it has a magic adjust of 180. For reference, our current one, I believe, has an adjust of 120.
If thou art in need, pray summon me again. I only wish to be of some genuine assistance. May the flames guide thee.
So let's take a look, right? Our current catalyst has an adjust, oh, it's even less than I thought, 114. This is bar none the most powerful catalyst if you are below 28 intelligence. I believe it's 28. It's either 28 or 26. Point is, this is going to be an incredible power boost, and this will be the permanent catalyst that we use for basically the entire game. It's seriously going to be super helpful for us. Now, the only other thing is that she clearly has quite a few spells that we want, and as much as I would love to grind money, I would rather just dupe a soul and call it good. So that's what I'm going to do. We'll just drop our 20 arrows, do our little trick. Because again, this'll save us time. Man, I actually got a first try there. Nice. So, go to soul. Item. Use all 20 of them. Thank you, arrows. Boom! And, that'll help us get most of the stuff. I know, Dusk. Thank you, thank you. Let's see. We purchased... Yep. Boom, 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 and boom. Exactly enough. Awesome.
For a very long time, I was trapped within the crystal golem. From my home I was taken and banished to a plane of distortion. It was there that thou came to my rescue, long after I had relinquished all hope. So gleeful was I. My faith reneweth.
But yeah.
If thou art in need, pray summon me again. I only wish to be of some genuine assistance.
And trust me,
The flames guide thee.
you already have been of some genuine assistance. Our spells are now going to hit like a truck. At least, you know, kinda. They're going to hit as hard as a soul arrow could hit, which is pretty good. So yeah, this is a super important place, especially for low-level sorcerers. Once you get above 28 intelligence, or it's either 28 or 26, again, I can't remember which. It's one of them. But once you do that, you can grab the catalyst. And as you notice, this is where we fought Havel. So you can do this as soon as you get to Undeadburg, fight Havel, beat the Hydra, beat the Crystal Golem. Now, the big reason I wanted to wait is because, frankly, our weapons were woefully underpowered, and we didn't have a lot to back ourselves up. So, being able to do this now is a huge boon. So, I figured I'd wait till now and show her off. Otherwise, we'll probably want to equip some of those spells that she gave us, namely the repair spell. That's going to save you a lot of headache. Plus, it means you don't have to use souls to repair your stuff anymore. If you have the magic, you can just use it, which is really cool. I don't know if it repairs armor, but I know it repairs your weapon. So, give it a shot. And I gotta say, I love the ambiance. The fun little lights of these glowing flowers. The nice mossy walls. Crickets. It's such a nice location. I mean, you know, when plants and hydras and crystal golems aren't trying to kill you, of course. But beyond that, I still like it here. Hi, Mr. Tree. Look at him being sneaky. Get poked. Ow. Yeah, these guys have some reach on them. Now, ideally, while you're here, make sure to pick up some purple moss clumps. You're going to want them. They will be invaluable when you go to Blighttown later, which, as we know, is where the second bell is. Also, here appears to be that crest door. We don't have the crest, so can't do it, but if you notice, there's a bunch of messages here. And if you're keen-eyed, you can look around and see there's a bonfire. So, hit the wall, roll through it, get yourself a very nice bonfire. It's kind of cheeky how they hide this, but I get it. Otherwise, let's attune to some magic. Like I said, we'll probably just put repair on. Now, interesting, hidden body and hidden weapon make you invisible, or nearly invisible, and your weapon invisible, which is really cool. Cast light gives you a little light that follows you, which is super nice. And chameleon turns you into something inconspicuous. A lot of people like to use chameleon to hide themselves amongst a level and let invaders find them. It's a super fun spell. Otherwise, let's just smack repair in there. We're good to go. let's show it off. There you go. I guess let's see. Did it repair our stuff? It looks like it did. Nice. Super cool. Yeah, it's kind of funny because this little branch is going to be a very powerful tool for us from now on, which is kind of hilarious. But yeah, thanks, Dusk. We appreciate ya. Putting a fog wall. And some items. If you notice, though, there's some naughty trees that are hiding here. So take the time to do some bushwhacking. Poke. Poke. And the idea is that you're supposed to run in here, grab this, and then get ambushed by 3 of them. We obviously were a little sharper-eyed than that. So, nice try, buddy. But we had your number. Once you're done with your good old trees, you can come down here. This is a pretty big forest, admittedly. Now, the first thing we see is a whole bunch of things and an item. You want that item, but you want to take things a little slowly. Something else you might see is there's this tree which is wiggling. Now, you may not think it, but this tree is actually an enemy. You can, in fact, kill this tree. I don't know why they did this, but they did. So, let's go this optional hidden way first, because it won't lead to anything. Down here, we'll find some frogs. Frog salamander things? I don't know. They make frog noises and they look like frogs. They also have a really bad habit of just falling through the level. Yeah, see, there's another one of the trees. And see, they do move. I guess, let's try out our sorcery. 105. Pretty good. Let's compare that to the old catalyst. So the old catalyst was doing 39. That's quite the sizable power increase. And that's where your intelligence doesn't actually determine how powerful your spells are. It's the catalyst that you're using. So, although the Sorcerer's Catalyst has an A in scaling, this, for whatever reason, is better now. It's just a weird way the math works out. So, basically, the point is, whenever you level up your intelligence, if you have other catalysts, go through your list and see what's better. You might be surprised to find that there's quite a few things that are and aren't better. Frog ambush. Now, if you notice, that stone statue came to life. He's casting something we want to be careful of. The thing he cast is called Tranquil Walk of Peace. What it does is when he gets close to us... I guess it's not in effect anymore. Basically, it would make a little circle go on us that slows our movement incredibly. We actually could have found this spell in the catacombs that we were in earlier. However, we would have really struggled had we tried to find that. So, I decided we'll wait until later when we're supposed to be there to actually go grab all the goodies and loot. So yeah, though, our magic makes most of these guys not that bad. Ooh, and they dropped green blossoms, too. Green blossoms increase your stamina recovery for a short minute. I think it's about 60 seconds, so a full minute. Pretty useful. Souls. And here you just find a nice little pond. It's a serene little area. Nice little grove, a pond. It's peaceful. There's not a whole lot of areas in Dark Souls that I think I could happily call peaceful, but this is one of them, I think. Ooh, hey there, pal. Yeah, so here, let's show off what he does. See, it puts that little circle on us. And if you try to roll with that, you'll do a fat roll. Ooh, and he dropped his great shield. Nice, that's a rare drop. He can also drop his sword, too. Notably, he can't drop his armor. However, we have a new ring, the Wolf Ring. This is actually kind of a cool ring. It boosts your poise. I want to say, yeah, it raises it by a flat 40, which is really good. Poise is interesting in the fact that it kind of works like a stamina bar. Every time you get hit, you take poise damage. And while you can't see it, when you run out of it, you stagger. So like for us, because we have 0, getting hit will always stagger us. If we had, say, I think it's 25 or 30 poise, we would be able to take a hit and then not stagger. I believe once you have, I think it's 53, you can take up to, I think it's two-handed greatsword swings without staggering, which is pretty insane. Point is, this is the only game where it works like that, so if you miss the stamina of this game, it never came back in any of the other games. So, sorry. A lot of people lament that fact, and it's like, dang, really? Like, it never came back? It never worked that way again? Yeah. And if you notice there, they dropped some red moss this time. Red moss alleviates bleeding buildup, whereas purple alleviates poison buildup. There's also a third, type of alleviation moss. So you have purple and red, but then there's also blooming purple, which alleviates toxin buildup, which is basically a stronger poison. It's a pretty good idea to try to farm some of these guys to really stock up on those, because frankly, you're gonna appreciate it. Oh, hi there, Mr. Tree. Poke. And poke. Ooh, thanks, pal. Now back here, we have a little grove. And if you notice, there's this snake enemy. He kind of blends in and looks like vines, which is kind of cool. This game has a lot of camouflaged enemies, which is really interesting. I feel like it builds a really, I guess, fluid world. It just makes sense that you would find lizards that are camouflaged as vines on a tree. It's something that, you know, you wouldn't think about. You're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Otherwise, we want that item. Now, if you notice, it is surrounded by enemies. Should you run and just grab the item willy-nilly, you're gonna get ambushed. Yeah, that's kind of funny. Ambushed. Unfortunately, I'm here all day. Still, we'll grab the Elite Knight armor, which is pretty damn good armor. Oh, that's gonna waste our spell. Whoopsies. Excuse me, big friend. I would like to cast my magic now. Ow. Kind of backed myself into a corner there. That's not, exactly smart. Hi there, Mr. Tree. And there you go, pal. Ow. Come on. There you go, buddy. Now, if you noticed, he's kind of did like a weird little back up and what looked like he was going for a hug. If that hits you, that's actually a grab. And interestingly, in Dark Souls, if you mash all of your buttons as quick as you can actually break out of grabs quicker than you otherwise would be let out of them. It's a super fun thing, and frankly, it rewards you for panicking, which I think is really cool. Not a lot of games do that. Kind of like how in Mario Kart, a lot of people were just like, oh, if I push the button harder, I'll go faster, you know, something like that. But in this case, it actually does work, which is kind of cool. Not a lot of games have things like that. Man, you guys are tanky. Now, if you don't have magic, the classic walk behind them and just poke them will still work. Most enemies in the game can be easily dealt with like that, so don't be terribly surprised, especially large enemies. So, another little lizard. And finally, the final golem. Hi, buddy. Careful with that sword now. Now, something I haven't really addressed or shown is that usually when you're swinging your weapon, you won't bounce off of things. But rarely, if your weapon just completely collides with a wall, you'll bounce right off of it. So be careful. Fighting in narrow corridors can be really tough. Now, notably, if you're human, you can actually summon an NPC right here for an upcoming boss fight. I actually do want to show that off, just because it's how you're going to beat this boss, generally speaking, without any form of range or magic. Plus, it's a fun NPC. Because while you may not have magic, the NPC does. While she's not the strongest or, well, the most well-coded, she'll get the job done eventually. Granted, though, that means I'm going to have to use humanity. You know what? I changed my mind. We're not going to show her off. No, I changed my mind again. We will show her off. I know I'm kind of wishy-washy about this, because frankly, our humanity is a little tighter than I would like it to be. But just one to show something off is fine. So let's reverse our hollowing. The only thing that I'm really worried about is, again, we're right next to PvP Central. It's literally, you know, this entire area. Basically, everything beyond this door. But, doesn't mean we can't be invaded here. So I'm going to haul to the door. I'm going to haul ass. We're going to get there as quick as we can because I really don't want to be invaded and lose out on our humanity. Now, granted, it would be fun if it was like, oh, it's an invader we can actually fight and, you know, play with and, you know, realistically defeat. It's Dark Souls 1, though. The chance of that is incredibly slim to the point where I don't even want to think about it and risk it, unfortunately. Which kind of sucks. You know, it's kind of a shame that that's the case. Of like, oh man, I don't even want to interact with this entire part of the game, which is kind of a central mechanic, just because so many people cheat. And, you know, do other not super nice things. So that kind of sucks, but oh well. Otherwise, here we can summon Witch Beatrice. As the name implies, she knows some pretty good magic. Luckily, so do we. But for this fight, you'll appreciate having her. Now granted, if you don't have a way to fight this enemy at range, it will eventually come to you. You'll just need to be patient. But the enemy we're going to be fighting, the Moonlight Butterfly, which is a very pretty enemy, to be fair. So when you see it, just start casting magic. Try to be a little closer to make sure you actually hit the dang thing. As you can see, even with our basic magic, we'll kind of destroy him. Now, eventually, after you dodge him for long enough, he'll perch on the ledge here. That's when you can hit him with melee, and then he'll explode after a short time. So be careful. Still, for a magic swordsman like us, it's not a big deal. Still, 10k souls? Pretty nice. Also, I gotta say, I love this bridge. It's so pretty. All the flora here with the little sparkles. I was gonna say fauna. No, there's no animals, at least not anymore. But yeah. Otherwise, we have this alone tower. Once you make it to the top, you'll be greeted by something that we've heard of. You'll also find a lone blacksmith who has the watchtower basement key and a divine ember. In order to make it to Blighttown normally, also gives you a divine, homeward bone, but we already have all the ones we can handle, so we don't need that. The idea is that you're supposed to go in here and use your homeward bone. So it's nice that they give you one. But in order to progress to Blighttown, we actually need that ember and the key. Namely the key. The ember doesn't matter. The key, though, will unlock the door that was locked back where we met Solaire, and it'll allow you to travel to Lower Undeadburg. That is how you find the sewers and eventually get into Blight Town. So, that's where we're headed next. Ooh, thank you, Mr. Tree. Trust me, you're going to be happy you stocked up and came here. Now, I know it seems a little counterintuitive to say, you know, oh, you stocked up and came here, but as I just told you, clearly you kind of need to come here. Normally, yes. However, if you're a thief, or chose the master key, as I showed you before, you can just go right to Blight Town. You can skip everything we've done and do it another time. So, keep that in mind. Maybe you want to go to Blight Town right away. Maybe you don't care about anything up here, and everything down there is so much more enticing. Frankly, more power to you. But hey, we have quite a few souls. Let's speak with our good pal Andre. Hey, buddy.
My, that's a rare ember you have there. I've seen one of those before. It's the ember of a divine blacksmith. Might you consider leaving that with me? I could produce divine weapons with a flame such as that.
Sure.
Well, thanks for that. You've made a fine decision. You soon shall see.
So not only do you get the way to Blight Town, you can also now modify your equipment and make divine weapons. Divine weapons give you a split between physical and magical damage. They start to scale with faith slightly, and if you notice, they have holy damage now. That holy damage, or well, the auxiliary effect of holy, isn't necessarily damage. It's more indicative of the fact that it is a holy weapon. If you remember those skeletons in the tomb, which I didn't really show because there wasn't a point, but if we tried to kill them normally, they would never die. With a holy weapon, you can put them down for good. So not only do we unlock the way to Blight Town, we unlock the way to get into the catacomb properly. At least, once you have a green Titanite shard. The issue is, there are colored Titanite shards, as we have seen before with the blue chunk. Blue, green, and there's eventually red Titanite are all required to make the different types of weapons. Magic weapons, fire weapons, lightning weapons, and divine weapons, as well as, I believe, dark weapons, too. There's a whole lot, and frankly, you probably won't have any at this point. So while you could go to the catacomb, the chances are slim that you'd actually have the Titanite for it. So that kind of sucks. Otherwise, I don't think there's anything else here that we need. We could buy the Crest of Artorias, but frankly, we're not quite ready for it.
Be careful out there.
And we'll come back later once we're a little more prepared. Still, that was a pretty good trip. Now, something I admittedly haven't done is been looking at all the armor we've gotten. I've kind of gotten used to just wearing what we have, but let's take a look at what we can put on. We've gotten quite a few armor sets. Hollow soldier armor, which is almost in every way worse. Not only does it weigh more, but it has less defense. Granted, it's not upgraded, so that makes sense. There's the leather armor, brigand armor, and of course, the knight armor and elite knight armor. Frankly, I love the way this stuff looks. This is kind of the iconic armor for the game, and for good reason. Now, the biggest issue is we mid-roll with this. So while it'd be nice to equip it, we can't optimally equip it. Maybe the knight armor? No, still much too heavy for us. Oh, maybe we could equip, say... I mean, we could equip this, but, this is kind of goofy looking, so I think for now, we'll just stick with our Sorcerer Cloak. However, we could probably equip some gauntlets without any big issue. So I guess let's see what's statistically the best. Like Boulder Knight for now? Ooh, or the Elite Knight are just in every way better. Cool. Works for me. So yeah, a little bit of an upgrade. Not bad. And I guess while we're at it, let's see if we can level up. We could increase our endurance. That could be the ticket. Maybe let's do that, right? Let's take a look at our endurance. See if we can equip the knight armor now. Ooh, we can. Can we equip the Elite Knight? Oh, barely not. Well, the knight armor is an improvement. Yeah. Maybe not for magic defense or lightning defense, but we're not exactly fighting a lot of lightning enemies now, aren't we? So, sure. Why not? Let's rock the knight armor. Seems cool. Now, granted, is it actually an increase? That's what you gotta ask yourself. So, overall, right, with what we have 106, 105, 113, 105, right? If we equip our cloak and then instead equip the knight gauntlets, we overall have more defense. So it's actually more worth our time to equip the gauntlets and keep our old stuff than it is to equip the new stuff. Granted, we should equip the armor. Also, these are our humanities and souls. We don't want to pick those up because that would be cheating. But, well, we could upgrade the armor and it would probably be better. I'm not going to bother. I figure I don't plan on wearing the knight armor specifically for the entire game, so I'm not going to worry about it. Now, the Elite Knight armor, I might be swayed for that, because frankly, I love the blue on it. It just looks so good. But, otherwise, if we return and make our way back through here, this is why it's nice that we opened the gate, too. It saves us a whole lot of roundabout walking. Should we come back here, the gate that we need to go to is right at the end of this bridge. So, that's nice. Excuse me, gentlemen. Now, something I would recommend is to actually rest at the bonfire down here. You might not understand readily why I recommend this bonfire, but it'll make sense in a bit. So, let's take a rest. And let's get on going. Now, notably, and I'm going to mention this now, if you want to get to where we're going immediately, there's actually a jump you can do on that little bridge right there to skip a lot of things. You can even open up the shortcut that's like right there too. So, if you've the stones for it, feel free. I've personally never done the jump, and I don't really feel the need to. So, I could. But, I figure let's show off the intended method. Call it good. Really, pal? Oh, good, he didn't hit me. Nice. I thought he was gonna. But we'll use the basement key. And, close call, huh? And head down into the basement. I say the basement. The lower Undeadburg. Nice. Yeah. Here we are. And wouldn't you know it, there's immediately a shortcut, which is super nice. Remember these guys? Way back when? Ow. Hey. Bit rude. You doing, huh? Oh, I parried way too early. Well. Oh well. Yeah, so here's that little bridge. I believe if you jump off right here, or no, it's like over there somewhere, you can basically hit the stairs and be fine. I don't think that's actually where you're supposed to jump, but point is, you can do a goofy jump and save yourself all the trouble, which is kind of cool. So if you want to get here early, maybe look up a video and give it a shot. Still, though, be on your guard. This place is evidently different than up above. Dogs, burning fires. We're in the slums. Ow. I forgot there was a third dog. I think there's even more dogs than that.
Somebody, please let me out of here. Somebody, anybody, help me. Unlock the door. Damn, I'm finished. How did this ever happen?
Well, we can just let you out. We bought the residence key from the merchant, so, hey there, guy.
Brilliant. You opened the door for me. Thank you. I'm saved. I thought I might never escape. I am Griggs of Vinheim, a sorcerer of the school. I am much obliged for your assistance. Thanks to you, I may now resume my travels.
Cool.
Oh, hello. I'm fine. I will rest a while, then return to Firelink Shrine. I have my sorcery. And I will be more cautious next time. Besides, I have an important task at hand.
Alright. So yeah, he's a wizard who will eventually go to Firelink Shrine. Plus here, you find the sorcerer gear and a catalyst. So if you didn't start as a sorcerer, you can now get all the items that allow you to use them, which is pretty cool. Ow. Yeah, these guys do a lot of damage with their torches. Oh boy. Yep. Be careful. Yeah, without all that humanity, we are a lot more vulnerable than we would be. There's a good chance if you haven't leveled your health, they will one-shot you with that attack, so be careful. Luckily, we're pretty powerful too. And here we find a twin humanity. Now, something I haven't really talked about is any of the lore or the actual story of the game, because frankly, there's a lot. It's super convoluted, and I'm not the best person nor the most researched on it, so I don't want to bring it up, at least not on my own. A lot of people just go look at YouTube videos for that stuff, and frankly, I don't blame you. There's some pretty great content out there on it, so maybe give it a look. Otherwise, at this point, I actually want to head back to Firelink Shrine, because our friend there that we just saved has some new spells for us. One that I am particularly interested in. So, let's make our way back to Firelink. Shouldn't be too long of a run, especially if you're just ignoring all the enemies. Ooh, and on our way back, we can kill the rat. Hi there, Mr. Rat. You gonna drop me humanity today? I would appreciate it. No, no humanity. Oh, well. Hey there, guy. Excuse me, fellas. I gotta go work out at the library real quick. Hey, and there's our friend. Yeah, he's just right there. Super easy to go find him. Oh, really? So, here's something I haven't shown. While there's an enemy nearby, you can't rest at bonfires. In order to rest at them, there needs to be no enemies within a certain distance of each bonfire. How big that distance is dependent on the area. Some may be more lenient, some may be more strict. And now that we've defeated our enemies, we can rest here. And now safely talk to our friend. Hey, buddy.
Oh, hello. I regret meeting you under such compromising circumstances. At least we both made it back unscathed. Incidentally, would you care to learn any sorceries? You're clearly talented, and besides, I owe you. Of course, we will require some materials, but I'm happy to teach you some elementary spells. Are you interested?
Absolutely.
Splendid. Very well. I am pleased to have a chance to give something back. Well then, let's get started straight away.
Yes, indeed. And he's going to have some very good spells. Soul Arrow and Heavy Soul Arrow, we've seen. Bread and butter at this point. He also has Great Soul Arrow, which is a stronger version of both of these. This is really good. He also has Fall Control, which reduces damage and noise from falling. This is actually a really interesting spell that interacts with the game really strangely. There's a lot of things in like speedrunning that actually use this. Maybe not in this game in particular, but in some of the other ones. Then there's also Great Heavy Soul Arrow. And the thing I really want, magic weapon. Sorcery for casters who wield swords. This is made for us. It's a magic augmentation to the right weapon. The power of the magic swordsman of Vinheim is predicated upon this and magic shield. Many warriors learn sorcery just for this. Wouldn't you know it, we're one of those warriors. He also has magic shield and oral decoy, so he has a whole suite of really good spells. He also will sell you a sorcerer's catalyst if you somehow didn't pick up the other one or want another. I guess it's useful. And he also has the Bellowing Dragon Crest Ring and the Lingering Dragon Crest Ring. This boosts sorcery and this boosts length of sorcery effects. So basically, damage increased for your spells, and this increases the length of the effect. So like light or magic weapon, for instance. Both super useful.
Right. That'll do it. That should help you on your journey. May we meet again.
The issue, though, is a lot of his stuff is really expensive. So this is the point in the game where you would go farm for hours and hours and hours and hours just to get enough souls to eventually buy all the things he has. Frankly, I'm good on that. So let's drop some arrows and do our favorite little trick. Oh, come on now. Oh. Missing my A input. There we go. Let's scroll down to our fattest soul that we have one of. Soul of a Proud Knight. Looks good to me. We'll use selected item. We'll use, yeah, screw it. Oh, good. Just, 1.8 million souls. That'll be good.
Oh, hello. Well, you certainly... Myself. I'm fine. Let's get started straight away.
And we certainly shall. So frankly, I'm going to buy him out. I want everything he's got. Thanks.
All right. That'll do it. That should help you on your journey. May we meet again.
And it certainly will, let me tell you. Otherwise, too, let's go talk to Petrus. Hey, buddy.
Oh, hello. I will teach you miracles. A promise is a promise, after all.
So, although I don't have a use for these, I figure may as well buy them. He also has a talisman and a Thorolin talisman, so that's cool.
Come again. The effectiveness of the teachings depend upon your faith.
So, thanks. Yeah, the biggest thing is I really wanted to get Magic Weapon. That's going to basically be the bread and butter iconic spell of what this character does. So, let's get rid of everything we have attuned. If we want, we could attune up to 90 soul arrows, which is pretty good. But frankly, I'm going to put Great Soul Arrow, and then, unfortunately, we can't use Great Heavy Soul Arrow yet. We're a little off. But, frankly, we can put 2 soul arrows. Actually, you know what? Let's do this a little different. Let's do 2 soul arrows, and then Great Soul Arrow. And then we will do... No. We'll do 30 soul arrows, 20 Great Soul Arrows, 1 Heavy Soul Arrow, and then Magic Weapon. That should be more than enough for now. And while we could equip some of the other spells, there's not a big reason. Oral Decoy is kind of fun, though. It's basically the effect of that skull we used earlier, so that's nice. So yeah. Now, we can enchant our weapon and make it way more powerful. If you notice, 285 damage compared to our normal 141. Now, here's another thing I want to show. Like I said, the Catalyst Magic Adjust is what matters. At this point, if you didn't get the Ulasil Ivory Catalyst, you'd still be using this one. Which, as you notice, isn't as good. 232 versus 285. That's a 50 damage difference. So yeah, if you weren't sold on getting the Ulysseal Ivory Catalyst, hopefully you are now. So yeah, this is going to be our bread and butter. It's a super useful sorcery, and frankly, rather than the Red Tearstone Ring, I'm going to put on the Lingering Dragon Crest Ring. Because I believe it gives you, I think it's a 50% boost in the duration to your spells. But yeah, look at that damage. Beautiful. Now the only thing is, obviously, I have all these souls that I cheated. So, I should probably kill myself, and I guess I'm gonna. But yeah, I want to show off the damage. Then we'll hike all the way back up to Lower Undeadburg. Shouldn't be bad. Now, something I think I want to do is actually, like, thinking about it, I want to rearrange my spells a little better. I want Magic Weapon to be in the first slot, followed by Soul Arrow, then, let's say, Great Soul Arrow and Heavy Soul Arrow. The reason for this is when you have a bunch of things assigned, say we're at Soul Arrow, there's no way for me to go backwards. When I press up, it just moves forward in the list. However, there is a trick. If I hold up and don't let go of it, it'll go back to whatever is in the first slot, no matter where you are. So that'll mean we'll default to our bread and butter spell, which is super useful. Now, frankly, these spells, Magic Weapon and such, are really good for clearing out bosses. Evidently, I'm going to try to keep them for all the bosses we encounter, but Magic Weapon has the added perk of having 5 uses. Other buffs will usually only have anywhere from 3 to even just 1 or 2 uses. So we'll probably still be using Magic Weapon all the way throughout the entire game, just because it has 5 uses. And it'll allow us to get through trash mobs a lot quicker. So like whenever we're going through an area we haven't gone through before, throw on a Magic Weapon. Why not? At least, you know, once we have either some more uses or maybe another thing. Because, like the soul arrows, there are upgrades to this magic, which we certainly will be finding throughout our journey. It's going to be a while before you get the upgrade to Magic Weapon, though, so don't expect to see it anytime soon. Go. And now we're already back. See? That was a very worthwhile trip. So before we head down, let's buff our weapon. Get ready for some dogs. Yeah, look at that. 238 damage. That's so much for this point in the game. It's kind of insane. The other big reason I wanted to buff my weapons is we're getting ambushed. Once that happens, I'm going to run back. We got some thieves to deal with. These guys do a fair amount of tricks. They're quite fancy with their dodging. So I wanted to make sure I had as much damage as I could in order to really make it hurt when I hit him. Ooh, and he dropped his armor. Very nice. Yeah, the other nice thing is they open their doors, which allow us to get some new weapons, like the Mailbreaker. I want to say that has a unique R2 that pierces shields, which is really cool. So if you're struggling with enemies that use shields, the Mailbreaker could be your friend. Otherwise, same gimmick here. Lots of dudes. Luckily, our Magic Weapon will help us get rid of them very quickly. And here, you get the actual thief gear, which is really cool. And the target shield. Super nice. I want to say the target shield is basically just a slightly, depending on your opinion, better buckler. It might, I think it blocks a little more damage and is slightly heavier. So, up to you. Otherwise, we have a pretty notorious boss. So, let's buff up, get ready. Say hello to the Capra Demon, who frankly is only hard because he has dogs in his arena. Without these dogs, this guy isn't all that bad. Most people panic against the dogs, and frankly, you can get rid of them pretty easy. Plus, our weapon buff really makes this dude kind of a pushover. Even our normal soul arrows do over 100 damage thanks to the Ulasil catalyst. Try out a great soul arrow. 186 is pretty darn good. Most people without magic struggle on this guy because they can't kill the dogs quick enough without him beating their, beating their ass. So most people run up here and then come over here and lure the dogs to try to kill them while he struggles to get up the stairs. It's not a bad strategy. Just don't be surprised if it doesn't always work. So yeah, already magic weapon is paying off in spades. Hey there, buddy. Now, something interesting is these guys can parry you, so be careful about just swinging willy-nilly. Still, if we come up here, be greeted to a rather rude little fella. Get out of here. But, we come all the way up, we find a very familiar tunnel. With someone here?
You still have your senses about you. Then why won't you buy some of my moss? I need your souls.
Some of your moss, huh? And yeah, like she says, she sells moss. Which, as I warned you, we're going to Blight Town, so I would stock up. She also sells blooming purple moss clumps, which restore toxin. They also restore your poison buildup too, so they're double duty. She also sells poison throwing knives, literal poop, alluring skulls, and infinite charcoal pine resins, which are a consumable version of magic weapon. These, I believe, apply a flat, it's either 50 or 80 fire damage to your weapon. So, if you don't have magic, and instead have the souls, you can use charcoal pine resin as much as you like. She also sells rotten pine resin, which adds a poison effect, so it builds up poison on the enemy. It can be useful. I believe she also sells 1 purging stone and 1 humanity, so you can buy the only humanity she has, which is kind of funny. She also sells fire arrows and poison arrows, so if you want to poison people at range, it's not a bad idea. Frankly, we'll pick up some of those poison arrows.
Come again, if you please.
Well, you're creepy as shit. But, if you see all the way down there, there's a locked gate. Which should look very familiar. Remember Mr. Rat? Wouldn't you know it? This leads right back to him. So now we have a quick way to get into the lower area of Undeadburg, which is pretty cool. Again, this is some of the game design and level design that a lot of people praise about Dark Souls 1. So many places we've gone interconnect to other areas we've been to or come from later, which is really cool. Not a lot of games can say they do that. There's a few, obviously, that can, but Dark Souls was kind of renowned for this level design. It's really impressive. And frankly, a lot of people miss it. The later games don't really have interconnected levels like this. There are some bits and pieces that are, sure, but not to this extent. Ooh. Soul of a Lost Undead. Very nice. A large one of that. Anyways, thanks to the Capra Demon, we got the key to the depths and can head on in. Did somebody say sewer level? Because that's what's coming. So, yeah. I mean, look, you think a game as renowned and as grimy as Dark Souls wouldn't have a sewer level? Come on. Who are you kidding? Still, this would be a good place to buff up. There's a lot of enemies here, and frankly, I want to make sure we're ready to take them on. Ooh. Also, low-key, I might switch back to the longsword, because I've been thinking about it. Frankly, I would like to play the other Souls games, and I want to try to carry over our build as close as I can, or at least something similar. Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3 all have the longsword. They don't all have the Balderside sword, or, you know, any other really special swords that we'll be finding. So, I might switch back to the longsword just because it's a weapon that we can use in every single game, including Elden Ring. So, I thought that might be fun. So, I don't know. It does feel like a bit of a waste because I did all that grinding, but, we'll see. Hey, rude. Also, hi there. Aren't you pretty? Say hello to the butcher. Isn't she beautiful? And no, I'm not kidding. This butcher is in fact female. And you get a sack. Very nice. And in her chest is a large ember, which you can give to Andre to further upgrade your weapons. So this is a pretty important area. This is why even if you can go straight to Blighttown, frankly, it's probably better just playing through the area normally, because without that ember, you can't get beyond a +5 weapon. Even if you have the final ember of the game, it still checks to make sure you have that ember. So, you can't just get the biggest final one and move on. They were smarter than that. Oh. Well, hi there. Would you like a Great Soul Arrow? Of course you would. Uh-oh. Ow. Bit rude. Woo. Not bad damage. 200? That's a lot. Not to say our sword is any slouch, but, yeesh. Otherwise, what's in here?
You.
Huh?
Yes, you. Here, over here. Please, you must help me.
Sure. There you go.
Thank you. I would have been a supper without you. Being eaten alive, I shudder to think. Thank you. Thank you dearly. I am Laurentius, or the Great Swan. I will not forget what I did to you.
Alright.
Oh, hello there. I'm fine, thanks to you.
Well, see you later. So like Griggs, he will show up back later in Firelink Shrine. Now, like I mentioned way earlier, not in this video, but in the first one, pyromancy is bar none some of the most powerful magic in the game because you don't need any stats to equip it. You just need attunement to attune it. This is where a lot of people get their pyromancy. So, even I could show it off. The only difference of what makes a good and a bad pyromancer are the spells you have available and the amount of souls you have to spend. As I've shown you with the soul duplication trick, you can get as many souls as you want. So you can start the game, or at least not start the game, but get very far into the game, at least early. You know, I'm just going to restart the whole sentence. I'm thinking about this whole area and trying to explain something. It's a little hard, but you can get slightly far into the beginning of the game, find Laurentius, and then have a max upgraded Pyromancer Flame, a plus 15 one. Better yet, is where we're going, Blighttown, you find someone who can make that Pyromancer Flame even more powerful than a plus 15. They can make it into a plus 5, I believe, I forget what the actual name of the weapon is, but basically, it's an upgraded version of the Pyromancer Glove that makes it do so much more damage. So not only can you have what would normally be a max upgraded Catalyst, which scales exclusively with money rather than stats, you can then instantly go to the place where you need to upgrade it, especially if you have the Master Key. So basically, if you want to do a level 1 build, most of how you do that, because you have to pick Pyromancer, it's the only level 1 class, you start with Pyromancy Flame. you come here as quick as you can, and then you get to Blighttown with the Master Key. You just leave here after saving him, upgrade your flame to plus 15, go find the person who can upgrade your flame even more, bada bing, bada boom. Suddenly, you are one of the most powerful endgame casters at level 1. It's insane and obscene just how broken pyromancy is, and frankly, while it is a lot of fun, I wouldn't recommend it for a first playthrough, at least not if you're using the soul duplication glitch. If you're not using it, go ahead. It's a lot of fun. Just be forewarned that, again, there's no stat to level with it, so you're probably going to end up as a physical character who's using it as a sub thing rather than a main thing for a little bit. So just be prepared for that. Now, if you notice, we just entered the sewer, and there are 5 rats right away. This, unironically, is the ideal place in the game to farm humanity. If you're low on it, come here and come get it. Is it a little stupid? Yes. Yes, it is. Does it work, though? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Trust me, these furry friends right here, they'll drop you some humanity. If you notice, too, they also inflict poison, which is really annoying. But, as we've seen, poison isn't all that bad. If you don't have a lot of Estus to burn, it might really mess you up. Also, I believe that key right there is how you actually open the bonfire if you don't have the master key. So if I were you, I'd backtrack and get that bonfire. We have no need, though. So, let's go through the fog wall. Hello. And giant rats. That's a bit unexpected. If you notice, there's a trident channeler there. We've seen these guys before. So, let's buff up. And then, I guess let's shoot him with some of our magic. Yeah, look at that. It's doing so much more damage than it ever did before. It's insane. Uh-oh. That probably would have killed me had it hit me. Which is kind of a scary thought. There we go. Now let's deal with his... Oh, no! We might be dead. Nope, we're good. Yeah, that poison, might matter if there are other enemies to actually capitalize on its tick damage. My god. Yeah, they do a lot more damage with that buff than you might think. Unfortunately, because they are rats, their body kind of blocks the fact that they have that buff. So, be careful. Again, if you don't have as much HP as we do, we would have died several times. This is why early on in the game, HP is easily the best stat to level. Later in the game, having higher attack, intelligence, you know, whatever, is good because your weapons scale more. But early on, the scaling doesn't really do much as opposed to just upgrading your weapon. So if I were you, just upgrade your weapons and keep on top of that, and worry about your offensive stats later in the game. Obviously, for us, I wanted to make sure we had enough intelligence to actually cast the spells I wanted to use, namely Magic Weapon. But otherwise, other than, you know, HP, maybe get a little bit of endurance so you can swing a couple more times and equip some slightly heavier gear. But frankly, HP is king. I wouldn't ever think to level anything else first. The same is especially true in games like Elden Ring. Oh my goodness, people, level your health. You will thank me. Oh, hi. Ow, that's a lot of damage. Excuse me, Mr. Big Rat. You hurt. Alright, let's tango. You notice he even had a battle axe in his eye. If you notice, we rack up damage very quickly with Magic Weapon. It's insane just how much damage per second this buff adds. It's awesome. And, gross. Ugh. So right here, make sure you hug the left wall. Otherwise, you'll be dropped in that little pit, and let me tell you, you do not want to be down there. We'll be going down there voluntarily, though not through the pit. So just, trust me on that. Nice. Hello, Mr. Rat. May I have a humanity, please? No. They're a little stingy. Hey, come here. Oh, no humanity. We'll continue going that way in a bit, but first, I want to show off this fella. Hey there.
Aye, Shemai, and good day to you. I'm Donald of Zenith. I'm just a peddler of sorts. I adore trinkets and oddities, so I trade for them.
All right. So here, he'll sell you 3 golden pine resins, which is nice, but we have magic weapons, so we'll be fine. And he sells you crystal weapons. These are unique. The entire thing with crystal weapons is that they have low durability, yet extremely high damage. The biggest thing, though, is you can't repair them. Sword cannot be used for long, as it cannot be repaired. So, while they can be useful, they're not permanent. If you need a quick power boost, like say for a boss, maybe one of these will help, but frankly, I would advise you to just steer clear of these. They're not good. Now, if you're doing PvP and you have the souls and, use the duplication trick, go crazy. Eventually, you can actually make your weapons into crystal weapons, which again, boosts the damage an insane amount, but it's expensive. So unless you're using the duplication trick or glitch, then I would just avoid these entirely. Otherwise, he sells all of his armor, but we can't buy it because we're kind of poor.
Well, that is a shame, but no matter. No, not to worry. Come back again. I'm always available. Not every trade was meant to be. There'll be more in store for us someday, sometime.
And that's true. So while he's here now, once we finish this area, he'll actually return back to Firelink under that bridge that I did that really scary jump on. So, if you don't want to trade with him now, you can trade with him later. Notably, and we'll see this later in the game, he will have armor from bosses, at least certain bosses. So it's worth checking in on him after you've beaten some big humanoid types. So he's kind of a cool NPC. Now, while this may seem weird, I want to reverse my hollowing. Because we have a scripted invasion coming up, and I want to make sure to show that off, because the NPC who invades here will invade you 3 times throughout the game. Should you beat him in all 3 locations, you'll get his armor later in the game. So I want to make sure that we get that, because it's a really unique set of armor, and frankly, it's really good. So, should you also wish to get this armor and the item, be human and head down these stairs after clearing out the giant rats. The sewer really likes rats, which again, they're good for humanity, so it's not a bad thing. Just if I were you, make sure to clear them out first. And once you hit about here, you'll meet a new friend. These are basilisks. Should you have fallen down that pit earlier, you'll fall down into a giant pit of these guys. Ah, and there's our invader friend, the Thorn Knight Kirk. Hi, buddy. If you notice, he didn't take my advice, and he's fat rolling. So we'll buff up on him. Get ready for a pretty interesting fight. Now, if you notice, he's called the Thorn Knight. As the name implies, if he rolls into you, it'll actually damage you, which is kind of cool. That's the armor you'll get should you beat him in all 3 locations. Plus, every time you beat him, you'll get a humanity, and he has a chance of dropping his sword and his shield, which is really cool. So it's definitely worth your time to come and beat him. Now, because we're human, you obviously know the downside. We can be invaded. Luckily, there's not too much area, so we'll fight our basilisks and be done with it. I will say, too, thank goodness for magic weapon at this point in the game and, having upgrades on our weapon, because these guys are nasty. That fog that they spray will build up curse. And as you can see, we're not incredibly resilient to curse. Yeah, also shout out to Magic too. Because that pit with all of them down there, that's where you'd end up if you dropped down here from the above area, more or less. I think it drops you right down here. So yeah, if you notice, there was a statue there. That's actually another player that died to these guys' petrification, which is really cool. See, like the statue here? This was a real player who died here. So yeah, it's kind of cool that enemies leave a story behind of, you know, players they've killed in other worlds. It's a really cool detail. Yeah, a lot of people hate basilisks, and for the right reason. Still, for braving them, you get the Ring of the Evil Eye, which frankly is a really cool ring. For every enemy you defeat, it'll restore a little HP to you. So this ring will help you keep going, which is really nice. When I first played through this game, I used that ring a lot. Because frankly, the biggest way that I find you die in this game is not that you take, you know, a lot of big damage and die instantly. It's that you take so much little chip damage that you run out of healing. So having something that actively counters that is really helpful. There are obviously better rings in the game than that, but frankly, for someone who's beginning in the game and is pretty new, I would heavily recommend it. It's a super useful ring. Still, when you're ready, come through here. Weakness. Fatty. Oh. Yeah, can't go that way. But the other unique thing is that because we're human, we'll have some friends we can summon for the upcoming boss, which is super cool. So kind of a double whammy. You can beat Kirk, and you can summon our good friend Solaire for the upcoming fight, which is super nice. So of course I wanted to show that off. Ooh. Second stupid idea. Well, there's a pyromancer using the Drake sword. See, they followed my advice. Use OP pyromancy and get the Drake sword. Yeah, it's really good early. Hell, pyromancy will carry you through the game. And over here, we can summon Lautrec again, which not a lot of people do, because again, they usually kill him for his really good ring. But for shits and giggles, we'll summon him. Now, if you notice, because I have two phantoms, the other player's sign disappeared. If I wanted to get a third player, I could by using the witch ring. Or, well, the dried witch's finger. I think it's down here somewhere. Nope, it was toward the top. I'm stupid. Did I never buy it? I don't think I ever bought it. Well, I'll have to go back and buy that. Point is, us and the boys are ready. So, when you're ready, traverse the white light. And say hello to, I think, a boss that a lot of people looked at and said, this is why I like Dark Souls. Hey there, fella. Oh. Oh. Hi. Looks like a dragon to me, and wouldn't you know, he has a nice long tail. Welcome to the Gaping Dragon. If you have a buff, I would apply it, and frankly, get ready for a long and tough fight. This guy is huge, but like I said, you want to go for the tail first and foremost, because it'll get you a weapon. This is also why I wanted to summon Solaire and Lautrec, because frankly, they will keep his aggro for us while we beat his tail. And there you go. You get a nice new weapon. It's not fantastic, but it's also not bad. Uh-oh. Ooh. Boy. So, let's play our role. We're the magic caster. So, let's do just that. As you can see, we're keeping up the damage pretty darn well. Uh-oh. Woo! Ow. Now this guy has a whole slew of different attacks he can do. If you notice, he's trying to do a tail swipe, but because we cut off his tail, he can't do it. He also has a move where he vomits and covers the arena in basically a floor hazard, so be careful of that. Uh-oh. His other, probably most dangerous move is he can slam his torso down and run at you, which can really rack up some big damage. But still, with the help of Lautrec and Solaire, we don't struggle at all. For beating him, you receive the Blight Town key. So yeah. Oh, and over here, there's another armor set. The hard leather gear. Pretty cool. Oh yeah, also I think the boss gives you a homeward bone, which we also can't pick up. So, oh well. Fire ahead. Yeah, you can't go that way. It does look like you should be able to, but they're not kidding. The actual way to go is backwards now. There's nothing else here for us. And because we beat the boss of the area, we can no longer be invaded here. So that's super useful. So now, you can farm rats to your heart's content for as many humanities as you want, up to 99. So, that's cool. Hey there, buddy.
Hi, Shemai. We meet again.
Yeah, after you open the door to Blighttown and start heading down, he will leave.
Well, that is a shame, but no matter.
So if you want his things now, make sure to pick them up, probably with the souls you just got. Otherwise, let's go back, heal, and get ready to descend into Blighttown. It's a pretty damn scary area, and frankly, you better be ready for it. Blighttown's no joke. Honestly, we got that big ember. It may even be smart to go back to Andre and have him upgrade our stuff. While we could, there will be a better opportunity to do that. So in fact, I'm just going to level up a whole bunch. I think I want one more intelligence, and then let's put the rest into, say, HP and endurance. Sure, looks good to me. And the big reason I wanted to do that is now we can attune Great Heavy Soul Arrow, which is going to be very useful. Frankly, at this point, I don't see a reason to keep normal Soul Arrow around. It's good for how many uses it has, but I want to be packing heavier firepower, frankly. So, that should be good. Overall, still 40 uses of magic, which isn't bad. That'll keep us nice and ready. So, speaking of being ready, when you are, let's head back down to that big gate we saw. Because, baby, we're Blighttown bound. Let me tell you, it's rough. Now, back in the day, when this game was originally on the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3, Blighttown was infamous for dropping people's frame rates down to about 15 in a game that ran already at 30 frames. If you notice with the remaster, we've been running at a nice crisp 60 the whole time. But, yeah, usually you'd enter here and your frames would go down the shitter. Which, wouldn't you know, that's literally what we're doing. So, it makes sense. Yeah, we got some big boys coming our way. Now these guys, like most other enemies, have one fatal weakness: walking behind them. The biggest issue, though, is you're on a big, narrow platform. However, you can use that to your advantage, too. You can knock these guys off, get instantly poisoned if you get hit. Thanks, zero poison resistance. But you can do that. So for Blighttown, I would recommend you have that moss set to your hotbar. It's going to save you a lot of headache because, frankly, this is kind of an endurance area. Welcome to Blighttown. This is also why I wanted some of our heavier spells. Because, frankly, we're going to need them. These first few enemies are notorious for just doing so much damage. So if you can, try to lure them to an edge, backstab them, and knock them off. That's probably your best bet, especially if you didn't go back to Andre and upgrade your stuff. Still, they're worth a fair amount of souls. Now, if we want, we could use some magic against them. But it's only 189, which is basically what a backstab already does. So, I'm not going to worry about it too much. See if we can get you by the ledge, huh, buddy? Now, the only thing to watch out for with ledge tactics like that is that you yourself are also getting up to a ledge. So they can knock you off just as easy as you can knock them off. Be aware of that. Most of the deaths you'll encounter in Blighttown are from just forgetting, hey, you're right next to a ledge. So keep that in mind while you're here. Ooh. Excuse me, fella. Thank you for being a good boy and dropping right off. You notice, though, some of the other enemies have picked up our scent. So be careful. One of the biggest things with Blighttown is that it is very easy to get swarmed by enemies. These guys come in two varieties. Fat and thick, small and quick. So, be prepared for that. As you can see, they take a lot of damage. Don't be afraid to hit them with your strongest stuff. Like I said, Blighttown's an endurance trial. Take it slow, do what you gotta. Make sure you're paying attention to where you're going, and you should be fine. The other thing too, if you have magic, don't be afraid to use it. It's better to use your magic and live than it is to not use your magic and die. Same with your healing, admittedly. Ow, 336, that's really good. Also, we got hit by Toxic, which is really bad. Toxic drains your health like nobody's business. So make sure you don't stay toxic for long. If you notice, you can see the little dude shooting those darts over there. You want to deal with him as quick as you can. Fortunately, he attacks really quickly, so you're going to have to bob and weave and get to him as fast as you can without getting hit. Luckily, he doesn't have a lot of health, but man, is he annoying. Uh-oh. Excuse me, fellas. Let's use some of our magic here. Hi. Go. Shh. If you notice, they also have a command grab, so be careful about that. They will do a lot of damage if you let them get close. Otherwise, whenever you're trying to figure out where to go in Blighttown, follow the torches. They'll really help you. Generally, any ladders are always marked with a torch at the top and bottom. So if you're not sure where to go, look for the fire. Ooh. Get some nice souls. Very good, very good. Yeah, there's a lot going on here. The biggest threat really is just getting lost and falling down. It's super easy to just fall into a pit, die, and that's it. Plus, as you notice, there's no bonfire right here. If you die, you're going back. Ooh. Hate those platforms. Also, welcome to Blighttown proper. If you see down there, their first bonfire. The issue is, we gotta get over there, which is easier said than done. Head back over. I hate those. And wouldn't you know it, they want you to do some very tricky jumps right away. Oh, barely. I was scared I wasn't going to make that, but for making that jump successfully, you receive the Aito, which is a pretty good katana. Notably, the first merchant we met in Undeadburg has the first actual katana you can get, the Uchi katana, which is basically the de facto go-to katana of the Souls series. It was even in Demon Souls, too. So frankly, If you want the katana, that's where you'll get it, is by killing the merchant. The only problem is, you need to kill the merchant. So if you don't want to do that, you can instead get the Aito here, which isn't quite as good, but it is here. It's pretty cool. I also like that it's called the Aito because it uses Aijutsu, which is the drawing slice, which is really cool. I'm also kind of just a sucker for that kind of stuff. I like all the Eastern fighting techniques and how things came about, and samurai are just, you know, cool. So, like, you know, like the history of it's so unique. The fact that they didn't have a lot of, you know, metals and stuff, so they had to use what they could and fold it and whatever, and there wasn't, like, metal armor and what, yeah, the whole history of it, it's just cool. It's just cool. Same with, like, medieval, like Europe and stuff, like all the knights and armor and all that stuff. Super cool. It's just neat seeing how the world progressed and, like, why we have, you know, different swords and weaponry from several different countries. I think it's really cool. History's fascinating. And I mean, without it, we wouldn't have games like this, where we're, you know, parading around as a masked magic sorcerer. So, thanks, history. Now, something I might do just to be safe, I might put the blooming moss here. Well, I say might. I'm going to put the blooming moss there, so that way I can just quick get it if I need it. Oh, I hate this walkway. Did I rest at the bonfire? I think I did. I'm gonna double check, because I really don't want to drop and die. For a lot of people who play Dark Souls, Blighttown is that moment in the game. Oh, and look, it's Baby Jesus. Hi, Baby Jesus. Nice Swyhander you have there. I'm gonna ignore you, unfortunately, but, you know, have fun with your playthrough. Otherwise, honestly, let's increase our health a little more. I'm just really wanting to make sure we are healthy and ready for what's to come. Let me tell you, we got a lot coming our way. The other thing, too, that's another big issue of this area is it's really dark. So, let's maybe put some of our other magic to use. Let's get rid of Heavy Soul Arrow, and let's put the Cast Light spell on. Give it a shot. Ooh. Yeah. That notably brightens things up quite a bit. Not a lot of people are going to have this spell coming through here, so if you picked it up and you're a sorcerer, this'll make things a little easier for you. Kind of a nice little added bonus of going out of our way. Yeah, this makes it a lot easier to see the entire area. Oh, hello. Yeah, as you can hear, there's a lot of friends all around us. You'll never be alone in Blighttown, but, you might want to be. What are you doing? Okay, I'll just leave. Huh? Ooh, nice. You gonna... Good? Sometimes the AI in these games are a little goofy. Ow. This is why I really like the Balder Sword, is because frankly the wide swing and how long the blade is make it really effective at dealing with multiple enemies at once. Ooh, careful. I believe if you drop on there, you just fall through and die. So be careful. However, you probably see those items and you want them. Let me tell you, we're gonna get them. Oh, hello there. Goodbye. Now, if you notice, this dude's in a pot. You can just leave him here. He won't leave the pot, which is kind of funny. But, ooh, look, we have another friend coming to greet us. Hello, friend. Oh. Go back down. Enjoy. You know what? Here, I'll plunge you. There you go. Ooh, fire weenies. Careful. I call them that for a reason. These guys can breathe fire, and man, do they do a lot of damage. Uh-oh. Luckily for us, they can't climb ladders, so thank goodness. If you want to deal with them easily, I would just recommend coming up here and plunging attack on. That usually deals with them. Granted, that's no fun. Use our big thrusting attack. There we go. I think the other one fell, which I am A-okay with. Also, as you see, light lasts a very long time, especially with the lingering ring, which is why I wanted to equip it. Goodbye. Because, it's really helpful here. Also, in order to get those items, we need to go back up. So, let's do that. I believe you need to hop over right here. Yep, there we go. Then you can walk right on over, climb this ladder, and grab the shadow gear, which is cool gear that makes you look like a ninja. Kind of awesome. Like, I don't think there's really any other Souls game where you can just be a ninja. And then down here, you get a soul. Very nice. And, ooh. Nice. We'll take that. And otherwise, when you're ready to progress, come down here. You should be good to go. Oh, god damn it. Need to keep moving because there's one of those dudes who poison us. Yeah, this is one of the difficulties of this area. Those guys are everywhere. And man, are they gonna make your life hell. Woo! Oh, no. Get off me! Get off me! There's where mashing probably saved my life. Woo! I'm playing a risky game right now. There we go. Whew. I was a little closer for comfort than I would have liked. But, we're all good. Man, I hate that little asshole. Yeah, there's no way I'm gonna hit him with magic. Not from here. Still... You notice there's a big, nasty tentacle thing. I don't know what that is or what it's supposed to be, but I know I don't like it. So, you know. Oh, I hear things running around, and I don't like that. Up there? No idea. Well, I guess down we go. Ooh, item. I like items. Oh yeah, there's plenty of guys moving around. Hi there, fellas. What's going on? Oh, we are surrounded. Well. This is why I like this weapon. Ow. This is also where having poise would really help, but we don't have that on this build yet. So, oh well. Yeah, see, these wide swings are the reason that straight swords in general throughout this entire game are so powerful. Oh, oh yeah, it's doing damage. Alright. I don't like you, so be gone, thing. Cool. That was easy. So let's head down. Alright. So far, so good. Ooh, and hopefully this will let us kill that, that little poison dude. That would be super nice. Yeah, man, light lasts forever. Look how long this is lasting. This is awesome. I need to use this spell more often. Hi, buddy. Goodbye. Burn in hell. I'm not a big fan of those guys, if it's not evident. Still, if we're going out of our way, we can come up this way. Ow. Be gone. Ow. Oh, okay, well. That works. I am okay with that. Otherwise, for going up this way, we will actually, I believe, get a new spell? Yeah. We get Power Within, which is a pyromancy. Also, of course, there's another one of you right here. Why wouldn't there be? Can I deal with you from here? Probably, actually. This might be just the right angle we need. Nope. Maybe here? Hey, that worked. Awesome. Also, hi, mosquito. Yeah, sometimes there's mosquitoes. They're not supposed to be up here, but they sometimes wander up from the swamp down there. So, be careful about that. Oh, and light finally ran out. Well, let's recast it. There we go. Super useful. Let's keep on going. I want to say we want to go up this way? Admittedly, I kind of forget the exact route you're supposed to take through Blighttown just because I never actually go this way when I, like, replay through the game. Maybe it's down there that I'm supposed to go. Just don't remember. But yeah, there's a lot of ways to get to and from Blighttown, and normally I go in a reverse order. So, you know. Oh, I think this is where we're supposed to go. Yes, this looks correct. There's a big fat guy here. It has to be correct. Ooh, and a little slim guy. Yeah, this stuff's dangerous. If you gotta, don't be afraid to back up and, you know, take your time. Frankly, this is a good place to use magic weapon. So, let's buff up. Get ready to do some damage. Ow. Ideal. Excuse me, my good sir, while I eat my moss. Thank you. Luckily, it's only poison, but still, poison is still a big deal. Man, look at that, though. 262? Man, that's so good for damage. Oh, okay, well, I deserve that one. Hello? Son? I can't see? That was terrifying. Alright, well. Handled it. And he dropped some poop. Thanks for the poop. I won't ever use that, but you might. But you have fun with your poop now. Yeah, otherwise, let's continue down, shall we? Ooh, item. So frankly, if I were you, reverse the white light. Let's take a look at what's ahead. Then let's go down from here. Yeah, we're getting toward the bottom now, which is good. It's very good. Ooh, item over there. I want that item. Very much so want that item. Only issue is we can't get it from this side. So, we'll come back for it. Otherwise, drop down right here very carefully. Take a little damage and get the whip. If you want to play Castlevania, now's your chance. Otherwise, be careful. Fall on down. Yeah, you can also drop down over there. I wouldn't recommend it because it's really dangerous, but you can do it. Oh, and hi, scary bug thing. I'm going to cast magic at you. There you go. If you notice, he didn't care. These guys are also super resistant to physical. So, don't be afraid to hit them with magic. If you don't have magic, just, be careful. They have a flame attack, which really hurts. Otherwise, I think I'm going away from what I want right now. So is that one of those dudes? It is, too. Yet, alright. That's not particularly good. Let's get going, shall we? Come on. There you go. Get out of here. Yeesh. Good riddance. And here, we find the Wanderer gear and the Falchion, which is a super good weapon. Curved swords in basically all the Souls games are really, really good. So I would go out of your way to make sure to get that. It is worth your time. Also, that leads me to believe that we missed the item up here, which is kind of dangerous because we are out of Estus flasks. Now, in a pinch, we can use humanity to heal ourselves. So I might actually slot some humanity just in case. I'd really rather not use it, but if we gotta, we gotta. Yeah, I don't remember how to get the item that's on the other side of this. I don't think it's from a later area, but maybe it is. Oh, it is. It certainly is. Yeah. Yeah, alright. So we'll be back for that. Oh, in fact, I know exactly what that is. What am I doing? I'm goofy. Still, I'd rather be thorough, you know, not miss things and not have to go through all the rigmarole again. So let's just hop on down. Good, good, good. Again, follow the fire. You should be fine. And we've basically made it to the base of Blighttown, which is impressive. Uh-oh. Yeah, these guys, they don't handle piercing damage very well, which is another reason I really wanted to use one of these swords, like either the baller sword or the, or longsword, because they have that thrusting attack, which is really good. It makes these guys way easier to fight. The nice thing about the Balder Sword is that it has 2 thrusting attacks on the right trigger, so it does 1 and then 2, whereas the long sword I think does like a weird sweep thing after one of them, which isn't quite as useful. Get magicked, idiot. Yeah, 305, that's so much damage. Man, it's awesome being a mage. Otherwise, get magicked? Not bad. So yeah, welcome to the Swamp of Blighttown. Once you've gotten down here, so long as you know where to go, you're basically home free. All you gotta do, run this way, maybe avoid the big guys. They're kind of a pain. Ow. Yeah, see, that fire hurts. Be careful. Now, don't be foolish like me. If I were you, I'd rush straight to the bonfire. But, I figure we should be okay. Run, run, run. Get on in here. Light your bonfire. And you've done it. You got through Blighttown. Got a nice level up. We're good to go. Otherwise, what's up here? Also, at this point, you probably don't need the light spell if you do have it, so you can feel free to unequip it. But down in this little pit, we have a dragon scale. Super useful. So if you're using like the Drake sword or any other dragon weapon, there's another scale for you. So yeah, admittedly, this bonfire right here is a super good bonfire to kindle at. I don't know if I'd recommend it, but like, there are worse choices, admittedly. So otherwise, I'm gonna tune magic. Put on a heavy soul arrow. There we go. Looks good to me. And luckily, we're still human. Which means, should we walk out here and deal with our friend real quick, we should be greeted by an invader. There we go. Maneater Mildred. If I were you, just bring her back into the tunnel. She'll come right to you. Don't you worry your little heart off. Frankly, for the invader, I'd buff up. That and I'd deal with the mosquitoes while you're at it. Annoying little pests. And say hello to Mildred. Ow. If you notice, she has a sack on her head and the same cleaver that those other female butchers used. So, she's probably related. But, she's not so hard. Man, does she give you a lot of souls. She also gives you 3 humanity and the butcher knife, so it's definitely worth fighting her. In fact, she gave us another level. Pretty cool. Thanks, Mildred. Otherwise, let's continue on our journey, shall we? Man, look at that damage. Oh, it's so good. It's just so good. Unfortunately, fact of the matter, you're gonna get poisoned while in the swamp of Blighttown, so I wouldn't use all your moss just yet. I would really use it in those, I guess, scaffolding segments? And, nowhere else. Granted, once we make it to the boss, we will, we'll use one of our mosses. Now, admittedly, the swamp down here is massive. This place is absolutely huge. This giant lift right here is how you leave, so we aren't interested in that yet, but, let's take a look around the swamp, why don't we? This place is big. There's a lot to do here, and frankly, you're going to be coming here a couple times throughout the game. So, hope you like that climb through Blighttown. Granted, as we know, there are ways to get here that are much easier than what we just did. So, in the future, we'll be using those methods to get here. I think that's very agreeable to most. Yeah, there are a lot of little nooks and crannies down here. And there's these little slugs. These slugs are actually very notable because they can drop green titanite, which, if you know, is what you need for divine weapons. This is why I'd recommend coming to Blighttown before doing the catacombs, just so that way you can get a divine weapon. Also, you get the pyromancer set here, which is pretty cool. So yeah, generally speaking, after you ring both of the bells, go to the catacombs, get the Rite of Kindling, and then we'll go back to, well, Firelink and figure out wherever we need to go. Granted, I'll spoil it for you. Eventually, once you ring both the bells, it'll open up that gate that, Siegmeyer was at. I think it's Siegmeyer? I always mix him up with the one in Dark Souls 3. There's another guy who's basically him, just another name. I think his name's Siegward? No. This one's Siegward. The one in Dark Souls 3 is Siegmeyer. So, my apologies for misnaming him. The only reason I remember that is because in Dark Souls 3, he says, "I, Siegmeyer of the Knights of Katarina, shall aid you against this foe," or whatever, when you first meet him. Dark Souls 3 has a lot of fun callbacks to this game. I can't wait to get to it. Granted, I do overall think I like Dark Souls 1 the best. 2 is really fun and different. It's kind of the black sheep of the family, but I think it has a lot of good going on, in addition to some of the bad that's in it. And Dark Souls 3 is just a return to formula, where there's a lot of cute Dark Souls 1 references. It's a lot more streamlined and similar to 2, and, you know, like level design. But, yeah, 2's a completely different horse of a game. Like, put it this way, if all the Souls games are horses, Dark Souls 2 is, well, I don't know horse breeds. It's kind of like a lab versus a, I guess a Rottweiler, you know? You recognize both the dogs, and you recognize them both as dogs, but, one's evidently very different than the other. Weird analogy, but, it works. Point is, when we get to Dark Souls 2, that'll be, a similar, albeit different experience. Also, I might have been wrong. They might only drop large titanite, which is still good. But I did want green titanite instead. Oh well. We'll live. Yeah, the other big thing to note is that this is a giant tree, which we haven't really seen from any other place in the game. So it's kind of weird seeing a giant tree at the base of this huge poisonous swamp. Now, something I will tell you is that this tree holds a secret. There's an entire dungeon and area beneath it, through a series of illusionary walls. So, should you want to go there now, which you totally can, there's nothing that's stopping you, though it is technically an endgame area. All you gotta do is come up here, grab the plank shield, roll through here, grab some twin humanities, roll through there, and then continue on down to the Great Tree Hollow. We will be back here. I don't plan on doing this now, though there are some nice things you could grab by going through here. I'm not going to worry about it now. We'll be back. But for later, seeing as we're already here, you might want to come down here and grab this bonfire specifically. I want to say it will help you a little later in the game. I might be wrong, but, well, fingers crossed I'm not for my own sake. Still, back up and out we go. We don't need to be here yet. Yeah, that's most of the stuff in the swamp. It's pretty straightforward. It's kind of just a giant, I guess not oval, but, you know, a giant flat area where you can just walk along the edges and find everything. So, it's at least simple to get through. And at the very least, unlike a certain area in Elden Ring, it's just poison. It's not toxin or anything. So, it's a minor nuisance compared to what would be, you know, you dying the entire time. Also, there's the green Titanite shard. Maybe that's what I was thinking of. I might be thinking that they drop it because they are green. No, they're guarding a green piece of Titanite. That's what it was. Still, they drop large Titanite shards, which we can actually use with the large ember we found. We just gotta bring it back to Andre, which we'll do once we're done with Blighttown. Because, frankly, going back the way we came is, a terrible idea. I'm gonna be very honest with you. So, let's make it back to our bonfire. And then, we'll get ready to go find the bell, basically. Ooh, there's a little summon sign. Oh, it's baby Jesus. Hi, Jesus. How you doing, buddy? We don't want to summon you, but we appreciate your effort. Sorry, buddy. You know, if I two-hand, I could probably one-shot them, which is kind of cool. Poke. Poke. Oh, I can one-shot them if I don't miss. Jeez. Yeah, otherwise, the only other thing to investigate is up there, which, again, that's how you exit, so we don't care yet. And then, well, I'll show you in about 2 seconds here. There's a giant web or cocoon over here? Maybe not cocoon, maybe hive or nest is more the word I'm looking for. But yeah, that's where our second bell is. Quite the area. If you notice, there's a bunch of dudes with boulders guarding it for some reason. I have no idea why they're there, but you can largely just run past them. It's not that hard. If we can kill this damn mosquito, jeez. Frickin' mosquito. Get poked, idiot. There we go. Still, though, there is one other item to grab. Once you've grabbed that item, though, you've basically seen everything Blighttown has to offer, except for the way out. Notably, that way out is actually where you go when you, or where you come from should you take the elevator in Firelink Shrine down and then go through the Master Key door. So, that's cool. Yeesh. Hi, buddy. Ow. Yeah, they're not exactly the nicest fellas. Uh-oh. Ow. Yeah, admittedly, it's kind of just better to ignore these dudes and, just run through them than it is to fight them. You can fight them, but, I don't think it's worth it. However, you get the Great Club here, which is a very funny weapon. It's also pretty good, actually, which is the funny thing. So yeah, once you're done playing with the big boys, I would just run back to the bonfire and get ready to leave. Otherwise, also of note, is I believe it's... No, it's not here. It's over there. On that little area of land over there, if you have a plus 15 Pyromancer Flame, which you can get from Laurentius, should you go back to Firelink Shrine, or you start with it if you're a Pyromancer, you can find a Witch of Izalith who will upgrade it and give you advanced pyromancy spells. So, If you want to upgrade your pyromancer, I guess level, technically speaking, and become an endgame pyromancer, this is where you do it. So that's why, too, if you're trying to do that, I would go back to Firelink before you come down to Blighttown, because you're going to be passing her anyways. I believe she's literally right here. Yeah, where this guy's standing. So, like, she's right here. So, if you want endgame magic, that's where you go to get it. Pretty simple, right? Still, just be forewarned, it does cost a lot of souls to get your Pyromancer glove up to that level, and then to further upgrade it with her. I'm talking in the millions. So, and maybe it's not actually in the millions, but it's a lot. Hey, quit that. Also, welcome to Quaelag's domain. A very infamous boss. So if you know these dudes, they have egg sacs. Should you break them, you'll get a bunch of worms, which are really dangerous actually. So I'm not going to do that. Otherwise, for this fight, we should be fine to unequip our things. And if you killed Maneater Mildred, you can summon her for this fight. She's honestly really good for this fight, and I'm not going to do it without her. So, let's summon her in and go watch our cutscene. Most people are like, "Oh, gross spider. This is nasty." And then they're like, you know, like, "Oh man, that's disgusting. Whoa. Cool fire sword." And then, huh? Whoa. Spider lady boob. And then most people are like, "Yeah, that's my favorite boss. I love her." So, don't be like those people, please. Anyways, same as most other bosses. Buff up your weapon and get ready for a big fight. Careful, because Quaelag will spit fire at you. Generally speaking, our magic is going to help us, and until Mildred draws aggro, we should just kind of stay away. Uh-oh. Careful, too. She has a bunch of really weird attacks, and her hitboxes for things are really generous, let's say. Ooh. Yeah, also, without magic weapon, we'd be doing... Uh-oh. Yeah, that was unlucky. We got stuck between her legs. Oh, God. Hi, Quaelag. But without magic weapon, we would be doing utter piss for damage. Still, Great Heavy Soul Arrow actually does a lot. And without the extra health of having Mildred here, she'd probably be dead by now. Still, magic makes her a lot easier. If you're doing this pure physical, I would make sure you have Mildred. She's really going to help you in this fight. Still, thanks. And if you heard bell ringing, which means we're in the right place. Ooh, and wouldn't you know, here it is. Nice. Let's give it a ring. Just like that, we've rung our second bell. I do like that the game shows you this cutscene of like, hey, this is where to go now. Now, I will warn you, when you ring that second bell and the entrance to Sen's Fortress is opened, which is what this area is, the world is going to change. Lautrec is going to leave, merchants will move, a whole bunch of things will happen. Not everyone's going to leave or abandon you, but just understand that by doing this, you're moving on to what is essentially the second chapter of the game. Still, there's more to do down here before we leave. If we come all the way down here, we'll find this thing. It doesn't do anything. Most people just head on through here, but as these messages clearly show, there's a hidden wall here. And an egg dude? Alright, hey there.
servant?
Yes.
But you have no eggs. Ah, no matter. Go along and have audience with our fair lady. I pray that you will mind your manners.
Sure. So, thanks, pal. Should you be agreeable, it will allow you to meet Quaelag's sister. You notice she too can reinforce your Estus flask. She also has a covenant. So, let's join it. Way of the White wasn't doing us any good. And you receive the Great Chaos Fireball Pyromancy. We have now joined the Chaos Servant. This is a very strange covenant. Notably, this girl doesn't talk to you. If you chose the Witch's Ring at the beginning of the game, this is the NPC who it allows you to talk to and understand, which is really cool. Otherwise, this covenant is actually the same covenant that Kirk is a part of, the Thorn guy we fought earlier. Now, while he's a part of it, the main benefit of being a part of this, I was going to say cult, covenant, is that you get chaos sorcery, or chaos pyromancies. They're fairly powerful, but there's another hidden benefit. Should you should you reach rank 2 of the Chaos Servant Covenant, you can open a secret door later on that will allow you to save a very certain someone's life. Should you not do this, they will perish. Now, the certain someone I mentioned is Solaire. Should you not get to rank 2 of this covenant, go through that secret door and defeat the thing that will eventually curse him, he will die in the story. This is one of the NPC quests that I wanted to go out of my way to show because, frankly, a lot of people don't know about this, and it's really sad seeing a fan favorite character die like that. Now, the biggest caveat, in order to do that, in order to reach rank 2 in this covenant, you need to give her a whopping 30 humanity, which is a tall asking price, especially at this point in the game. As of right now, with all of our twin humanities and our normal humanity, we only have 21. So even if you saved everything you've gotten up to this point from drops and items, you still probably wouldn't have 30. So, because I really don't want to farm rats, let's use our favorite little trick again, shall we? Now, the nice thing is that because we have a way to get rid of our humanity, this actually won't negatively affect us, and I can just dump our humanity elsewhere. So once I actually do the trick correctly, again, like I said, it's a little finicky. Generally, click your mouse and then press the A button slightly after it, and that'll get you to it. Come on, baby. There we go. So let's scroll down to our humanity. And let's use... Should we use it? There we go. And then, I guess, for now, let's use exactly 30. Sure. There we go. Pick up our arrows. Grab our other humanities. Go. And let's give them to her. Now, something that's super nice in the remaster of this game, you can give her all of the humanity all at once. In the original, you had to give them to her individually, which took forever. The same is true of using souls and other multiple items like this. Originally, you could only use one item at a time, which really slowed things down. Especially because they gave you a ton of them. Ooh. So yeah, you get Chaos Storm, which is a very, very powerful pyromancy. And now that we are a Chaos Servant +2, we've unlocked that door later. However, until you get to that door, you need to stay in this covenant, otherwise you won't be able to open it. I don't remember if this is true in this version, but should you leave the covenant at any point, you will lose all of your standing with it. So if we left, we would go back down to rank 0. So be careful. Like I said, that may not be true of this version, but if it is, a fair warning. Now, notably, sometimes the bonfire is a little finicky here, so if it doesn't work, just give it a couple shots. Should be fine. But yeah, now that we've done that, let's take our leave. That's the most important thing here, at least in this area. Now, it's time to head out the door and, see what's what. Because if you thought Blighttown and the Swamp were fun, well, you're going to have even more fun in the Demon Ruins. This place is brutal, and frankly, you're meant to come back here way later in the game. If the giant pit of lava and the Capra demon, who is now a regular enemy, weren't signing off, you probably shouldn't be here yet. Granted, doesn't hurt to look. And frankly, there's a big fog gate and a boss that we can fight right now who anyone can actually beat regardless of level with very little involvement. Now, notably, you eventually will wrap down around there and go down those stairs. Through those, I guess columns, pillars, whatever you want to call them, through down there, and we can see it from up here, there's that golden wall. It's kind of hard to see. See if I can get a better angle on it. Yeah, see that gold right there, right above my head or next to it? That is a golden fog gate. Should you go up to it, it'll tell you that it's sealed by some power that we don't yet have. So even if you wanted to, you couldn't progress this way any further until you get to a certain point in the game. So while we can do this part now, we can't progress any further. So frankly, I think it's nice to stop here, do this now, and then take our leave of Blighttown. After that, normally, you would go to Andre Vastora, give him the smithing ember, make a divine weapon, go into the catacombs, and then get the Rite of Kindling, and then go through Sen's Fortress. We've already done that, so we'll just go straight to Sen's Fortress after this. And, hi there, guy. This is the boss that we're here to fight. Luckily for us, he doesn't aggro you until you come over here and grab this item. It's actually a really good armor set. So yeah, once you do this, stand here, let him do that, and then start booking it. Your goal here is to get back to the fog gate as quickly as you can. Generally sprint through here and you should be good. Oh, careful. Sometimes he'll blast you. Sometimes you can be quick enough and he won't do that. Other times you may not be lucky. Luckily, we have plenty of HP, so it's not a big deal. If you notice down there, there's only so much path. And up here, it's much further than that path allows him to go. So basically, once he runs out of area to walk, he's gonna jump for us. Once that happens, all you have to do is hit him a couple of times, and you automatically win the fight. I'm not kidding. So now he's stuck. We'll hit him a couple times. And, he then falls down into the pit. Probably the easiest boss in the entire game if you know what you're doing. And once you beat him, the giant lake of lava becomes obsidian and allows you to walk over it. So yeah, the ceaseless discharge was ceaselessly discharging lava into that pool. So yeah. He also drops you a homeward bone and 20k more souls. So it's super worth your time to do this right now. Frankly, let's use a homeward bone and get out of here. We got a long way back to Firelink Shrine, but that's all good. Hello, Quayla, or Quaylana. I think that's her name, because I believe we fought Quaylag, and this is Quaylana. Very pretty name, I must admit. Otherwise, I think I want more stamina right now. I've been feeling very limited by the amount of stamina we have, so see you later, guys. We'll be back way later in the game. So yeah, now we start our ascent back up through the back end of Blighttown, which there's some very important items to grab along the way. Don't worry, we won't miss them, but I wanted to note that if you do miss them, you're going to need to come back for them later. So it's best to get them now. But man, I gotta say, this is a pretty damn epic area. I mean, seriously, this is something straight out of Berserk, which, is evident because the guy who made these games is a super huge fan of Berserk. Go figure. Which, to be fair, so am I. Kick-ass series. But I mean, man, what a world. Huge giant swamp, big, you know, city, all these different things that are so grim and just dingy, and yet there's still beauty, I think, you can see in most of the areas. I mean, like that little forest we were in, Darkroot. There's so much pretty stuff in there. Be it the frogs, the flora, so many things. Even down here, it's not just a mix of, you know, gray or anything. There's bright yellows, vibrant, I guess, browns, even the use of greens and purples, bright reds and oranges. There's color all around, and I think that's one of the things that stands out a lot with Dark Souls. It's a very vibrant and colorful game despite its namesake. So yeah, it might be Dark Souls, but it's anything but. Sure, some areas are literally dark, yes. But I think it, you know, it's obviously the subject matter is dark. It's not the world is dark. Though, that's kind of the whole plot of the game, is that eventually the world will be dark. So, Kind of just speaking out of my ass, trying to filter that air, but, you know. Anyways, riding up the, big old water wheel? I guess? We can start heading up the back route of, Blighttown. Which, is filled with quite a few freaks. Still, there's a very important item. A couple, in fact, that you want to make sure you go out of your way to get up here. So, should you come up this way, we'll be at the other end of that first item that we missed. Or, well, could see but couldn't get. Here, you'll get the Mask of the Sealer and the Crimson stuff, as well as the Tin Banishment Catalyst. And Remedy. Remedy does what you'd think. It cures you of poison and other ailments, which is super useful. Frankly, I love the spell. It's rare that I play a spellcaster, so I never get to use it, but, man, it would have been great had we, you know, grabbed that before we went to Blighttown. So, if you're a spellcaster, maybe come down this way first, grab Remedy, and then do Blighttown properly. But otherwise, the other big important thing is this asshole. Later. As you can see, there are many of them. Evidently, you want to deal with them as quick as humanly possible while not getting shot. If you do, hopefully you still have some of your moss, and if you don't, they should drop some. So should be all good. We'll just use our magic to deal with him. And if you notice down here, we have some of these little hot dogs again. If you don't have a way to blast these guys and one-hit kill them, they'll usually run into a wall and be really annoying to deal with. So if you have a bow, you can try to shoot them, but it just might not work. So hopefully you have magic, and if you don't, get on down there and do your best. This entire portion kinda sucks, I'm not gonna lie. You notice there's plenty of these little dudes. A baby, nice. Ba-boom. Not so bad. See, and look, there's even 2 more of them down here. They really filled this entire area with these little guys because they knew they were annoying. So, can't blame them. Because they're guarding another Firekeeper soul. So yeah, it's pretty important that you grab this on the way back up. Or if this is your first time coming here and you came through the back route, it's important you grab it on the way down. That'll give us a nice +3 Estus Flask, which of course increases how much we heal per drink, which is awesome. Also, there's this one here. I would like to get the item, please. Thank you. Thanks for the moss, though. I appreciate that. And over here, you receive some souls. Useful, though nothing super important. If you want to skip that, frankly, more power to you. Otherwise, now that we've done all that, let's head up here and onto the final stretch of this area, which, let me tell you, boy oh boy is it, I'm going to use the word fun. It's not especially, but, well, you get the point. Yeah, when you come over here, I believe it's... Actually, I think it's up a little more. That, or maybe I missed it. I may have missed the thing I'm thinking about, which if I did, oopsies. I think I totally did, which, oopsies. Basically, if you remember that giant bridge, or not giant, but the little bridge we crossed earlier, that kind of swayed and wobbled, there's another big one of those that I think I missed back there, which has some humanities or something. It's not important. What is important, though, is the key to the new Londo ruins. That's the place where we found all those ghosts earlier. So if you remember that, the game is instructing you that, hey, you can go there now. I wouldn't recommend it, but you can explore there now. So, that's cool. Son, you are just way too healthy. Again, thank goodness for a magic weapon. It is so good. Ooh, and he dropped his large club. That's actually a pretty rare drop. Nice. Granted, we already got the great club, so we really didn't need the large one, but hey, I'll take it. Yeah, look at that. Even with our full stamina bar and all buffed up, these guys still take more punishment than that. It's insane how much health these guys have. At least for this point in the game. Obviously, bosses have more, but that's beside the point. Ow. Well, wouldn't be the end of Blighttown without getting poisoned again. Yeah. That's all she wrote. That's all of Blighttown. Barring that one bridge I missed, but oh well. We'll live. Maybe someday when I come back down, I'll show it off. Probably not, but eh. Anyways, welcome back to the Valley of Drakes. From here on, you should know what to do. Take the elevator, go on up. It's a good time. And it's easy, too. And I think, I don't know if he's down here yet, but eventually, the Crestfallen guy will be down here. Once he's down here, that's when you're really supposed to come through here. The Crestfallen guy is, the first guy we talked to who told us about the bells, that there's 2 of them. Eventually, he will go crazy and he'll be down here. Once you find him down here, that's when you should come here. It's gonna be a bit from now, but, well, you'll know it when you see him. Still, make sure the elevator's down before you just walk in. This does not move on its own. You have to move it up and down yourself, so, you know, be careful about that, because let me tell you, I've plummeted through here several times before. And let me tell you, that return trip back up through Blighttown isn't fun. Still, Our Firekeeper's gone now. You get her armor set and the black eye orb, though. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, what the heck is this? Where did she go? This black eye orb will allow you to invade the world of Murderer of Firekeeper. The mystical orb found on a Firekeeper's corpse. You invade the world of the Murderer of the Firekeeper to defeat the perpetrator and reclaim the soul of the Firekeeper. The black eye keeps constant watch on the city of the gods, Anor Londo. It's the first mention we've heard of it, but that's where we're ultimately going right now. After Sen's Fortress, we'll find ourselves there. And that's where we'll find Lautrec, who's the guy who murdered our Firekeeper. This is why a lot of people just kill him, but if you do that, you forfeit his armor set, her armor set, and helping her inadvertently. Right now, Firekeeper is absent, and we cannot light the bonfire. The other big downside is she's dead. So not only can we not use the bonfire, we can't use our Firekeeper soul. It sucks. Also, hey there. How you doing?
Hello. Was it you who rang the bell of awakening? I am the primordial serpent, King Sika Fract, close friend of the great Lord Gwyn, chosen undead, who has rung the bell of awakening. I wish to elucidate your fate. Do you seek such enlightenment?
Sure. Sir, this is the scariest moment of my life.
Very well. Then I am pleased to share. Chosen undead, your fate is to succeed the great Lord Gwyn, so that you may link the fire, cast away the dark, and undo the curse of the undead. To this end, you must visit Anor Londo and acquire the Lord Vessel.
Alright, cool. Thanks for telling me. So yeah, that's ultimately our goal. Go to Sen's Fortress, also known colloquially as Sen's Funhouse, get to Anor Londo, and get the Lord Vessel. It's pretty straightforward, ultimately. Granted, there's another thing we can do before that. I would recommend doing this later in the game. But you can actually return to the Undead Asylum. Some people like to do this before Blighttown even, because there's something there that's going to really help us there. At least it would have had we gotten the item before we went to Blighttown. The only issue is that that item is guarded by some very powerful enemies, which frankly barely stand a chance against, even right now. While I think we can take them, it's going to be a challenge. So I want to make sure we grab as much Estus as we can and be as prepared as we can. So hey, Andre, I got a new ember for you.
Why, that's a fine ember you have there. I could smith some mighty weapons with one of those. Why not lend it to me?
Sure.
Magnificent! You won't be disappointed. I can hardly wait to get started.
So now, we can make the Balder sword, or Balder side sword, +6. This will allow you to forge it up to +10, which is super useful. You can also make it a raw weapon. Raw weapons are interesting. They raise the base damage of the weapon, but they lower the scaling of it. In other games, they remove the scaling almost entirely, if not entirely. So, if you want to boost your damage by a lot, say if you're not, raising physical stats, this is actually a really good way to do it. And frankly, I'm considering making our Balderside sword into raw, just because I don't care about the scaling right now. I'm leveling health and endurance and intelligence first and foremost before I touch dexterity. Eventually, our dexterity will be leagues higher than our intelligence, I believe by 15 whole points. So this wouldn't be a terrible idea. Now, the only thing to consider, right? It's 138 plus 19 versus 120 versus 21. So technically, while it is better, should you invest in your actual damage stats, it may not be.
I'll be seeing you. Be careful.
So for reference too, it's also getting a level. So it does 120 plus 21 versus ultimately either 128 plus 23 compared to 138 plus 19. Depending on how you use a weapon, especially if you're two-handing and using strength, raw is generally never the correct bet. But for us, using, a one-handed weapon that we rarely two-hand, it actually might be worth us making it raw right now. So as is, right, this gives us 151 damage versus this gives us 157. So 6 points. It's not a terrible deal. Point is, this gives you a little more damage now at the cost of damage later. I believe you can always come here and undo them. So if we still want to use the Balderside sword later and make it not raw, we could undo it, which is really nice. So I think for now, let's make it raw. Once you've made a weapon raw, you have to go back in your menu, and then you can start leveling it. So, there we go. Get it +2. Not bad.
Get yourself killed. Neither of us want to see you go hollow.
So yeah, a nice little damage boost. So now when we cast Magic Weapon, we have 322 power, which is pretty good. Pretty good. So while we could go into Sen's Funhouse, let's go back to Firelink Shrine. I think, can we level up? Oh, we can. I'm going to do that. Yeah, now let's head on back. Because, we need to show some things off. Like I mentioned earlier, you can go back to the Undead Asylum. I would recommend doing this later. You're going to be fighting a familiar, albeit powered up boss. And frankly, he has a lot of health and does an incredible amount of damage. So if you don't think you're up to the task, don't worry, do this a little later. I think we'll be just fine. I may eat my words very quickly. So fingers crossed that I'm not bad at the game. If I am, oh well. The other bad thing is that right now, we don't have an easy warp here. As you notice, there's some things out here. You can roll right onto this pillar. Come right up here. Make sure to come onto this roof first and grab the Undead Asylum Floor 2 West Key. That... Uh-oh. Ow! Hi, Frampt. How you doing? I just broke my knees. I'll be seeing you, buddy. Oh, there goes one of our Estus. Oh, well. Anyways, make sure you grab that key, because that's kind of the, key to what we're doing. Funny, because it literally is, and figuratively is as well. It's a very apt term. So, once you've, grabbed the key, come back up here and actually climb the staircase. Don't just jump off like a fool. And up here at the top, there's a crow's nest, and it lets you curl up like a ball. So, should you stay curled up like a ball for long enough, eventually the crow will pick us back up and bring us to the asylum. It takes a minute. Now, when we go back to the asylum, there's going to be some very tough enemies here. Almost every enemy has been replaced, and they're a lot harder. There's also several items we can get here that are very useful. That's why I figure now is a pretty good time to do this. There's also a hidden NPC here who will trade with you. Otherwise, I'll go through the list of all the things that you can trade here, but first let's clear out the mooks, shall we? These guys could probably one-shot us if I'm not careful, so be careful. Namely, that running attack they do is deadly. If I were you, hit them with yours before they hit you. They hurt. But once you've killed them, there's a crow nest over here.
You. Give me warm. Give me soft.
This is Snuggly the Crow, and she'll trade you a whole bevy of items. Should you have taken the pendant, you can get a souvenir of reprisal. You can trade rubbish for a Titanite chunk, a sunlight metal for a white Titanite chunk, blood red moss clump for twinkling Titanite, purple moss clump for twinkling Titanite, a blooming purple moss clump for twinkling Titanite times 2, a cracked red eye orb for 2 purging stones, a humanity for a ring of sacrifice, twin humanities for a rare ring of sacrifice, a prism stone for demon Titanite, dung pie for demon Titanite, the pyromancy flame basic for a red Titanite chunk, so the base one you get, a plus 15 ascended pyromancy flame for a red Titanite slab, an egg vermifuge for a dragon scale, the sunlight maggot for the old witch's ring, the sack that we got for the great demon's hammer, the skull lantern for a ring of fog, ring of the sun princess for the divine blessings times 2, the Xanthos crown for a ring of favor and protection, and the soul of Manus for the pursuer's sorcery spell. A lot of the things I just told you about, we don't have and won't have for a very, very long time. But in order to trade... Oops. Not do that right? I thought I did. You, are supposed to drop the item. Or maybe not? Huh. I'm doing it wrong? I rarely ever do this in my playthroughs. Sometimes it might just be finicky. Oh. I guess not. Point is, you can trade things to them. They give you a whole bunch of really useful items for otherwise garbage. Otherwise, I guess, let me see. So yeah, let's see. Oh yeah. Alright. So yeah. I don't know why this isn't working, but I think in order to do it, you need to drop the items directly into the nest. So let's try dropping a moss clump. No, still not working. I don't know why this isn't working. It should be. But, oh well. I guess. Maybe you have to come back? I don't know. I'm not actually super certain on how that works in this game. I don't use it that often, but just know that it's there. So I guess maybe let's read here. Let's see. Oh, so in order to trade the item, you have to either save and quit or jump off the cliff and die. Take your pick. I would choose save and quit. Now, should you walk into the center of this room, you will start a boss fight. Eventually, we want to do that. But first, we want to re-explore this entire area. So, let's get to it. I would also recommend you rest at this bonfire specifically. This is going to save you a lot of trouble and headache. Still, get ready for some Black Knights, because you're going to be fighting a whole bunch of them here. Hopefully, you can get some of their equipment. Still, ye old parry method will see you through. So if you know how to parry, you're kind of just here for a bunch of free goodies, which is nice. Yeah, otherwise, if you don't know how to parry and you're struggling with these guys, maybe come back here later when you're a little more prepared. It also helps having an upgraded weapon so you actually do damage to these guys. Ooh, we got a sword. Very nice. Nice rare drop. And otherwise, if you see through the grate there, Savior from the beginning of the game is a hollow now. So we'll have to fight him. Hey, buddy. Yeah, he has poise. Sorry, you're getting parried. He does a fair amount of damage, but I wouldn't worry too much about him. Ow. Kicked me. Yeah, he's also fat rolling, so maybe don't worry too much about him. Sorry, bud. But for beating him, you get the Crush Shield, which I believe is a really high magic resistant shield. So that's super useful. Oh, they also replaced the stone ball, of course. Classic. And most of these enemies are kind of the same. It's namely the Black Knights you gotta watch about, and those torch undead. They're really dangerous. For whatever reason, they gave them, like, crazy high damage. So, keep that in mind. You should be fine. And here, they've given you 2 of these guys. I don't know why they felt the need to add a spear guy, but, they did. So, you know. I guess maybe they thought the extra challenge would be nice. But this is why we came back here. At least the first part. Coming all the way back here and grabbing the item you saw all the way at the beginning of the game, you get the Rusted Iron Ring, which is a really useful ring. It improves balance on poor footing. Those who find this strange ring to their liking will be pleased to find it easier to gain footing on poor ground, such as swamps. A lot of people like to come here, grab this ring, and then do Blighttown. Obviously, the enemies we fought aren't super hard, so it's not a bad idea to get this. Even then, you can just come right up here after beating the torch pygmies and just walk up and grab it. No Black Knight required. Still, I like to do everything here that we can before we leave. Because once we've done everything here, we won't have to ever come back, which is nice. Overall, the biggest changes is that there are 2 Black Knights, the ring, and an optional boss, who frankly is very worth fighting. You notice in our cell, there's an item there. We want that item. And frankly, we want this Black Knight dead. So, it's a win-win. Sorry, pal. It's just not your day. It's okay. Works for us. Go ahead. Sorry. Boop. Well, that was easy. But back here, we'll find the Peculiar Doll, which is a key item. A strange doll in a strange dress. There once was an abomination who held no place in this world. She clutched this doll tightly and eventually was drawn into a cold and lonely painted world. Should we find a giant, cold-looking painting, that doll will help us. Notably, too, there's the boss we're going to be fighting. It's another asylum demon, though this one is very powerful, so be careful. That's kind of why I recommended, hey, maybe come back later for him specifically. When you beat him, though, he will drop you a Titanite slab, which is required to make a max level weapon. So, it's pretty worth your time doing this now if you can. If you can't, don't worry about it. So, when you're ready, beat these pygmies, buff up, run on in. It's boss time, baby. It's rude because you start the fight already with reduced health. And, yeah. Now, his moveset is a little different. He has a big AoE he can do. Thanks for showing it off, like so, which does a ton of damage. Usually you can get kind of greedy with it, though. Just make sure you're not by him, because otherwise it will hurt. Otherwise, he's not all that bad. He has another version of it where he swings his weapon. Be careful for that one. It comes out quick. Otherwise, he usually just likes doing this one, which is easy enough to avoid. Again, should you get hit by it, you're in for a world of pain. Ooh, I almost got hit there. It has a deceptively large range, so be careful. Same with that little booty slam he does there, too. That can really trip you up if you're not careful. Otherwise, if you have magic, when he goes up in the air, you can easily hit him. Same with when he does this. So now would be a great time for me to cast a spell, which does a fair amount of damage. Yeesh. Ooh, our buff ran out. Uh-oh. So yeah, when he does this, is also a good time to rebuff. Like so. Ow! Yeah, that did half our health. Frankly, this is a fight that I like playing unlocked for, because I find it's a lot easier to maneuver around him. Otherwise, let's use some of our magic here. Oop, there's the ranged one. Careful about that. That will hurt if it hits you. Come on, baby. Nice. Going for that. I like it. We'll cast our magic, which does very good damage for this point in the game, to be honest. That's kind of why I felt confident we could beat him. If you don't have higher level sorcery, or just, you know, maybe a pyro flame or a very nice weapon, you're going to be here for a while. Uh-oh. Ow! That actually didn't do as much damage as I thought it did, but it's still not fun. Point is, be careful. This guy means business. Whew. Uh-oh. Alright, good. Uh-oh. Getting risky. Come on, baby. Oh, that just went right through him. Alright, well. Sometimes that happens. Hitboxes are a little goofy in this game occasionally. Uh-oh. Ow! Not a fan. Whew. Uh-oh, our buff wore off. Still, we should be able to finish him off with magic. Shouldn't be too hard. Go. Give him another. Woo! Ow! Yeah, that has a really big range, so be careful. Woo! Go. Stab him right between the cheeks. We got him. Not bad. Not bad at all. It helps that you've already fought him once. Gives you a homeward bone, humanity, 20,000 souls, and specifically, he drops the Titanite slab. Super useful. So yeah. You can trade with the crows, get a Titanite slab, beat 2 more Black Knights, grab a really useful ring, which frankly has more uses than just Blighttown. You might be surprised to find. And you get a key item for going to an entire extra optional area later. So it's pretty worth your time to come back here. Especially because you should be more than powerful enough. I mean, obviously, if you haven't been leveling your HP, or you don't have magic, or, you know, you're struggling with the game, you might struggle here too. But it shouldn't be that bad. Like I said, it's a boss you fought before, and he doesn't hurt that bad, but, he can really do a number on you if you're not expecting it. So yeah, that's the revisit to, the Asylum. Not bad. Hey, frankly, we did a lot today. Got through all of Lower Undeadburg, the Depths, Blight Town, and the Return to Undead Asylum, which is honestly really great. Had it not been for me farming the Baldurcide sword last time, we probably would have done a lot of that stuff then, but frankly, I wanted this sword, so god damn it, I'm gonna get the sword. And I mean, hey, it's certainly been a very reliable weapon, so I think it was justified. Careful with falling. Rather not go back to the asylum. I framped. Yeah. Once we get back to good old Andre, we'll probably call it there. This is why I love Dark Souls. The world's so interconnected, there's always something to do. At least, you know, as long as you know what there is to do. If you're a new player too, I feel the sense of discovery in this game is something just unrivaled with so many other games. Like, if you were to play this game completely blind without knowing anything, it feels like there's so many things all over the place. It really rewards you for exploring and trying things out and experimenting. Magic's good, miracles are good, everything you can use will usually benefit you in some way, shape, or form. Plus, the skill ceiling is pretty darn high. The skill floor starts very reasonable, so I feel like even someone who's not good at games could still very reasonably get through Dark Souls with just a little bit of know-how. And sometimes that's the biggest barrier to entry with this game. You just might not know what you're doing and get frustrated. Otherwise, let's level up our endurance. And a little bit more health. Sounds good to me. And then, next time we play Dark Souls Remastered, we'll get to Anne Orlando through Sen's Fortress. Till then, as always, I've been Bread. Thanks for watching, and have a good one.